Welcome everybody to today's stream. Hope you had a nice day so far. Let's have some fun together. Just the usual gaming. We are back in the casual, tryharding phase in Guild Wars 2. Nothing happening. Yeah, I mean, just the usual stuff. Welcome everybody. Yeah, let's see what we can find today, what we can come up, what kind of stuff we have. Welcome Mugiwara, welcome. Ooh, a lot of people are actually already playing. Very nice. Good. As always, if you have any questions, any comments, any feedback, I'm always happy to talk about it, give you my opinion on it. And yeah, let's see what we can do today. I mean, I'm trying out just the usual open world, fractals, stuff like that. So I guess I'm setting up my own squad if no one wants to do it. It's the usual, and then I will forget to write the stuff for Dragonstorm. That's okay, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. Next week is beta event. I'm looking forward to that. I will try a lot of cool stuff out there. But until then, just the usual, I guess, in Guild Wars 2. Just the usual. Let's see what we can find here in the group. So the beta event works actually quite easy. So the cool part is every single player can join. So if you have a Guild Wars 2 account, as far as I understand it, you get access to the beta event. You don't even have to own the latest expansion. You don't have to pre-order any expansion that is like currently upcoming or something like that. No, completely fine. So the important part is you get in, log in during next week, starting on Wednesday, as far as I know, for 7 days. And you log in, then you get, I think, 5 slots, maybe 3, I'm not completely sure, where you have a specific beta tag. So you get 3 to 5, I'm not 100% sure, character slots that are only for beta characters. And as soon as you create a beta character, you will have this character and it will have access, only this character, to the specific new elite spec coming out for this class. And if you want to try all of them, you will have to delete one of those. So you can't get all of them in like the beta event without deleting one of the old, so to say, beta characters. But that's about it. So let me quickly, I will go more into detail. Just let me quickly sort the group here. Okay, we have ADPS. That's good. Very good, very good. Actually, first time in a long while that I found 4 support players first and not a greedy DPS player joining instantly without having read the description here. So that's good, that's good, that's good. So, I will quickly answer the question and I will come to your Asara, okay? So the question was, how does the beta event work? Like I said, you create a character, you have 3 to 5 slots for the beta characters, you create those characters, they will instantly be level 80, they will have exotic gear with them. But if you have, for example, a bank, you can use the bank stuff on there, you can of course lose all your legendary gear on them, stuff like that. And then you can try out the characters in every single game mode, but anything, really anything you will get on this character, it will not stay on your normal account. So you have, so to say, a split. When this event starts and you create your first character, it will stop, so to say, getting any loot while you are on the beta character. If you're running your normal characters, it will perfectly work as normal, but on the beta characters, it will stay and will, so to say, get deleted completely. Every single beta character will, so to say, get deleted with all the loot that they gathered. Even if you put it on the bank, it will get deleted as well. So keep that in mind. I'm quite new to Guild Wars 2. I only leveled 5 characters to 80 and unlocked some mounts. How do I start crafting ascended gear? So I have a complete guide about ascended gear on my YouTube channel. I can link it to you. Give me a second, because this is really like summarizing it very, very well, in my opinion, how you can get all the ascended gear. The most important part that I would give you as an advice is get the stuff from the Wizard's Vault. The Wizard's Vault is one of the best features for ascended gear. So this is the link to the video that I meant, where I summarize it quite well. But the important part is really be patient, get the stuff from the Wizard's Vault. That's the best thing. Other than that, go into raids, fractals, strike missions, world versus world, PvP. All of those game modes have vendors where you can actually sell, or buy rather, ascended gear. And you don't have to craft it, because crafting is not that nice of a way. It is doable, yes, but it's somewhat expensive and not that fast. So I would rather recommend doing stuff that you would do anyways, whatever this is in the specific game mode, and you will get the ascended gear that way. But like I said, watch this video, you will have every single thing answered in the video there. Yeah. Already wasted Wizard's Vault on armor class. I don't play anymore. Yeah, that's sad, but don't worry. You know, Wizard's Vault is resetting in like 2 months, a little bit more than 2 months, in 77 days. And then you will get a new round of 3 armor and 1 weapon piece. So really nice. So just keep playing the game. You will get a lot of free stuff from the Wizard's Vault, so to say, free for playing the game. Yeah. And El Charlatan, if you have any other question regarding the beta event, just ask me. But don't be worried too much about the beta event. It's really easy to get into. If you want to try out a lot of different builds and don't have full legendary gear, I would recommend you to put all your stuff, like ascended gear, food, whatever you have, in your bank, so that the characters have access to that when you want to try out different builds. If you don't want to do that, then don't worry about it. Just play when the beta event will happen. So don't worry too much. The only sad part about the beta event is that you will, so to say, not get any progress on the beta characters. So if you're grinding really hard in the open world, try a lot of builds, there will be no gold generated from that for your account. But I think that's okay, because you actually get access to the beta characters and have some fun there and can get some feedback. And if you really want to grind some gold, you can still do that on your normal characters, of course. So let's do some Bone Skinner here. And we are playing Heal Berserker. You know, people always don't believe it, but Heal Berserker is actually a really, really good support. Highly recommend that. Nice, we got the CC as well. Looks good so far, I like it. And really, really nice healing. Look at those boons. Insane boon uptime on Heal Berserker. Really, really good healing output as well. Just overall, surprising how good this build is. Really, really. I can't stress that enough. I want to show it almost in every single stream. It's just a really, really good build. So, oh, this is not gonna work. So, I will catch up in chat in a second. Just want to make sure that my team is not dying here. Sadly, we lost obviously our healer here, I think, in the second subgroup, or third subgroup rather. So, not good, but what can you do? Okay. Get some barrier out, get some healing out. Yeah, looks good, looks good. Welcome, welcome, welcome everybody. I hope you had a nice day so far. If you have any questions, any comments, any feedback, let me know. I'm always happy to answer those. And yeah, it's just a casual, I would say, PvE for the most part, but also later also some World vs. World Tuesday for me. And just celebrating 10k subscribers on YouTube. So if you have not entered my YouTube giveaway, be sure to do that. You have a chance of winning a legendary. You know, I'm giving away a legendary weapon on my YouTube channel. And yeah, be sure to enter the giveaway to not miss out on that, because it's really easy. And I mean, who wouldn't want to have a free legendary? Even if you have the legendary already, it's a nice, like, gold income. You will get this legendary, or you have the chance of getting it, Sunrise. You might have it already, doesn't matter, you can sell it, get some gold out of it. So be sure to enter. I just got a Warrior to 80 and unlocked Berserker, and it's pretty fun. Nice change of pace from Revenant and Necro. Yeah, I think Berserker is a very fast-paced spec, and I think it's sadly a little bit underrated. People don't give it enough credit how strong it is. You can play it as a Condi DPS, Power DPS, Quickness DPS. Even, like I play here currently, full heal build is very viable as well. You cover so many boons. It's surprising how good this build is. It is not like for everyone. You have to press a lot of buttons, as you can see, and it's also like has some disadvantages, otherwise it would be a crazy meta pick. But in my opinion, it's definitely worth trying out. So especially if you just level the character to level 80, be sure to check that build out. It's really fun. Let's go, let's go. Let's get some buffs up. And look at those boons. It's like crazy. It's like Chronomancer can't have that many boons at the same time all the time. And Berserker can do that, and it's actually so fun to play as well, in my opinion. It's really, really nice. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. If you do Bone Skinner correctly, then one of the craziest things about Bone Skinner is that you actually can like ignore half of the mechanics, or like almost all of them, if you just have enough DPS. Because you will skip, like with the CC phase in the beginning, you will skip to like 60% if you have a decent group. And that's obviously like insane in terms of just raw numbers, because then after 70%, if you have enough DPS, you have like 1 or 2 hand phases, and then you skip that again. So it's like Bone Skinner is really easy if you have high DPS, especially if you have a lot of power DPS. That's really helping with the Spirit Nova action skill. But it does work with almost all classes. Thanks, the Silent Shadow Leaf. Really appreciate the sub. Thanks a lot. Really, really nice. Really appreciate the support. Yeah, so I would say that's why I think I do like Bone Skinner and those Icefruit Saga strike missions almost every single day, because I like them so much. But it's so much more fun if you have a group that is actually like, yeah, knowing what they are doing. That's really like, yeah, it just feels like a different boss then, you know? I had so many bosses in the last few weeks where I had like bad quickness uptime, bad CCs and that kind of stuff. But if you actually know what you're doing, it feels so much better. And you will see that later when I do fractals as well. If you have a good group, the difference for some bosses is insane. Not all the bosses are like that. For example, this boss is like really, really easy all the time. But Bone Skinner and some fractal bosses and stuff, if you have a good group, they feel so fun and easy. And if you have a bad group, they feel really painful. And yeah, I just try my best, but I'm a single player, obviously. I can't do every single mechanic, every single role. So sometimes it just doesn't work out that well. But yeah, trying my best. Would be perfect to make Eternity? Exactly, you know, Eternity is such a nice, like, classic skin. Yeah, Sunrise is very good for that. Yeah, definitely. I wish you do guide videos for Sword Renegade. You explain so good and instructive. Love your videos. Don't worry, Kinesis. I'm actually planning on doing on Renegade, Power Renegade build guide, especially for fractals, but of course you can use it in all content. And yeah, it will come soonish. I'm not completely sure when I will get to it, but I think in the next like weeks for sure. So stay tuned for that. I always have like a very, very long list of videos, even when it's just about builds. They take a while to produce, so I'm trying my best, but it will come out. Don't worry, don't worry. Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Machivara, for the congrats. Really appreciate it. Open world Berserker build for now with mix of Berserker and Diviner Gear. Yeah, that's really good. You just spam your Primal Burst skills and you get so much value from them, especially if you have some Diviner pieces in there. You have such a crazy good boon uptime. So, yeah, okay. Yeah, let's do it like this. Do you think for open world solo PvE, a Spectre with Rampager gear is okay? I think it's decent, yeah. I think the problem is, as soon as you don't run Celestial on a Condi build in open world for a solo build, you are a little bit worse. It's just straight up true. Celestial is such a giga broken stat in all kinds of PvE, where you have like some kind of tanking and damage that you receive, while also being somewhat like healing intensive. It's really crazy. It's really, really strong if you're on Celestial, but on Rampagers for like 90% of the content you will be completely fine as well. Just don't be like, it's really about you not taking that much damage. Spectre is, even on the Celestial build, not a build that I would say is like extremely high in the health per second recovery. So if you want to make sure that you don't like die to a boss, yeah, sorry for the very obvious tip here, just don't take that much damage. You have a lot of range on Spectre, and it doesn't matter if you're Celestial or Rampager's gear. If you keep your range with all your attacks that are ranged, then you don't take that much damage. And you can solo a lot of encounters where you would normally die in melee because you don't have enough healing for that. But if you don't take that much damage in the first place, you actually can survive for way longer. I hope that makes sense. Okay, let's go to the next one. I almost forget which one I didn't do. I think this one didn't. Spear. Ah, interesting. Yeah, Spear is like Condi Renegade build, yeah. That is something that I also have on my to-do list. It's a little bit lower, to be honest, because not a lot of people actually play Spear. But if you are like really someone that is like pushing hard and wants to get this build done, maybe I push it ahead in the list. And yeah, if you really want to do it, if you want to see it, yeah, maybe I will do that then first. Yeah, it's also a really cool build. One of my most favorite builds actually in the entire game is Condition Renegade, full DPS Condi Renegade, and I hope they buff it to some extent or give it some uniqueness as well. Would be amazing. I really look forward to that day, to be honest. Yeah. Yeah, Precognition build is really, really strong. That is true. Good point. Heal Druid video as well. Yeah, there are so many builds I need to cover, you know. That's the sad part. I always try and make a lot of guides every single like day, but it's so hard to cover all of them, you know. So please bear with me. I'm trying my best here, and I will of course get to hopefully most of the builds at some point. Just takes a while. Can't do everything first. Yeah, I think the problem is Kanaxai, for example, is like, in my opinion, it's one of the easiest challenge modes in Fractals, yeah? But the problem is, if a single player in the group just fails the mechanic, you can't recover from that. And that's why it feels so bad, because the fight is already feeling quite sluggish. And if you then have also a mechanic at the last, like, let's say 40% or someone dies and you can't do the mechanic and you have to reset, and that feels so painful. That's why I really hate it to do it with a group that I don't know the experience level of. So in a lot of pack scenes, that's typically the case, and sometimes you have just a bad player there, and that's feeling really bad in this specific fight because you can't recover from that. Whereas in other Fractals, raid bosses and stuff, you can easily recover because you can just take over the mechanic. On Kanaxai, sometimes it's just not possible, and that feels really painful. 100%. Can you make a video from the scratch, like what items to get for quality of life and like a guide and stuff? So I'm actually a slight teaser here for my dear Twitch viewers and YouTube viewers that are on my stream. You know, that's something that is obviously like still in the making and worth like mentioning that it's work in progress. But after the beta event is over, I will actually start my first Zero to Hero. And this is obviously something that a lot of like classic gamers do all the time. But that's something that I want to do as well with my take on the stuff. So I start a full account from scratch and showcase it here live on stream, every single minute of it, and explain every single thing that is there to know about what I'm doing, why I'm doing it and stuff. And that should help a lot of new players that just want to tag along and just understand what's actually happening. So I think that's something. But like I said, 2 weeks, because I have to wait for the beta event to be over. I want to try out everything there. And then we will start doing that on stream. Yes, short slide announcement here for my people that actually wanted that a long time ago already. So I will answer the question after this boss here. Don't CC. No, they CC'd. Now this boss might be bugged. That's always so bad. At 25% this boss might bug, and then it feels so bad if they CC here. Yeah, it's okay. Hopefully it doesn't bug. Can't change it anyway. No, it's not bugged. That's good already. That is not bugged. I'm having a class crisis. Oh no. Got bored of Mesmer after playing it for years. Tried Elementalist. My fingers hurt now. Yeah, I feel you there. So what kind of class? Oh my god. What is going on? I lost my group. We can GG now. What is... What? Did you see that? Did you see that? 7 people instantly died. That's crazy. The instant that I actually did not have that in my long time. That's crazy. That's actually insane. They were all greeting so hard for DPS that like 7 people instantly died. The boss, like 7 kills. Crazy. Yeah, so if you give me more information, Semi-Mute, you can actually maybe tell me which class you want to pick, which looks quite interesting, and I can give you more information on those. If you already had Vipers, could you chuck some Ritualist gear on open world for Condi builds? Yes, you could do that as well. Just be aware that Celestial gives overall the most amount of stats. That's just why Celestial is so broken. But you could easily mix Viper and Ritualist and will get a decent amount of like offensive and some wound duration as well. Just be aware it's not as good as Celestial would be in defensive ways, especially. Could be more offensive. Welcome, Handy. I'm doing good. Hope you're doing fine as well. Is there any build for Revenant that makes great use of the Impossible Odds from... yeah, I think actually a lot of Impossible Odds builds, especially Power Herald, Power Vindicator, use actually quite a lot of Impossible Odds all the time for damage uptime. So if you like those builds, Power Vindicator, Power Herald, they actually use Impossible Odds. On Herald, though, I would play Quickness DPS Herald, Power Quickness DPS Herald. But other than that, yeah, definitely those two are my go-to, I would say. But you can even play in Fractals specifically. Alacrity Renegade is also a power build and does surprising amounts of damage with Impossible Odds as well. Yeah, Condi Renegade is really fun. It's really, really good. And I played it a lot when Spear came out because it's just a really, really easy build to play and has a lot of damage on top of that. So that's just perfect. But nowadays, it's just not like living up to that. You know, if you have a Mirage at 53k and you have the Condi Renegade at 42k, why would you pick that one? You know, it's just like, it feels just worse. That's the problem. But I still like the rotation and the build. So hope we will get back to playing that. Yeah, exactly. 0 to hero. That will be hopefully quite exciting for most people, especially the newer players. But also hopefully some veterans that just want to have some interesting content again. I'm crafting the legendary armor from Raid, starting the Envoy armor too. Can I farm some bottle of airship oil? That's one of the hardest things to farm because you have to do Verdant Drink. That's like Verdant Drink is the thing that you need to do. And you cannot speed it up for the most part because you can't buy those from the trading post or anything else. So my thing here is log in every single day and do the Matriarch. So there is a specific like timer every single day. I think every 2 hours the Matriarch spawns on Verdant Brink, and a lot of people that are semi-AFK stand there all the time. You just log in every day on those specific times, and once it takes 2 minutes or something, and if you then do it every single day, you get a lot of airship parts, a lot of crowbars, and a lot of airship oil, or how it's called. Yeah. So that's my tip there. Hope that helps to some extent. Other than that, it's just like, oh my god, did I not give? I didn't give myself stability. I'm such a like selfless person. Only gave my team stability. That's okay. I have a stun break anyway. Hopefully now they didn't like get one shot here. That's an important part here. Let's see. Looks good so far. No. Only 3 people this time. It's always this like under 25% health attack that gets people. I don't even know why. It's like there is a red or orange circle like there. Just move out of it, you know. Just move out and you will be fine. Just when you stand in there, you get crazy amounts of damage. There we go. We did it. Only 4 people died apparently. Boss too hard. Way harder than Bone Skinner. I just wish they explained more why they do what they are doing. So I will really try to explain every single thing that I do while doing the 0 to Hero challenge. And of course, if you have any questions while you're in the stream, then please ask. That's the important part. Sometimes I'm a veteran and do stuff without thinking that it's like not basic to most people. So always ask. That's really important. So I think we did all of them except those. So yeah. Is there a way I blow most of the times alone, but would like to have a bot to create a new character explorer map and stuff? So Mr. Smith, you can join our Discord server, our community guild, and maybe you find some people there that help you out and just run around. But sometimes you can just ask in map chat as well. That helps sometimes to find people that are also willing to help and do some stuff together. So that's my tip there. Yeah, looks like a new strike mission CM, yeah. Sometime on the low APM side and good self-sustain, and as a DPS what I'm looking for. Okay, so Low APM and good self-sustain as a DPS. Okay, okay. What could that be? Low APM. So it's probably not a warrior. Good self-sustain. What build does have good self-sustain? Interesting. Maybe someone in chat has a question. An answer to that question rather. So I personally would say, for example, you could play some kind of Condi Virtuoso. I have a low intensity or simplified Condi Virtuoso build that I can recommend. It's ranged, it has crazy defensive, crazy self-sustain. It's easy to play in my opinion. It is not like very low APM, but it's somewhat low APM, so you can check that one out in my opinion. I have a guide on my YouTube channel about it as well. Maybe that's something for you. Yeah. Do you have a fun Catalyst build I can try for strike missions? I have a lot of them actually. Quickness DPS Catalyst in my opinion with Scepter Dagger is amazing. I can highly recommend it. I play that all the time if I have to play quick DPS because it's so high DPS and you have great boon uptime as well. Can recommend that one, yeah. Yeah, Mirage is hard to play, that is true, that is true. At least to some extent. So it's unfair to compare that, of course, to an easy build, but I still want to say if you have like a DPS build that does 11k more DPS than a other DPS build, sometimes they need to change some stuff. That's too much in my opinion. That's just the point that I say. Yeah, so the progress is actually quite good. Video coming out this week, El Charlatan. Video coming out about it this week. So slight teaser here again. Yes. We will do this. I will showcase this build, yes. Necro Elementalist, a better solo class. All of them amazing. Reaper is really good. Catalyst, Tempest are really good. Scourge is really good. Harbinger is really good. There are so many great solo classes on those two specs. Just go for the one that you enjoy the most. Really, just from the looks. They are amazing, all of them. I have, for every single elite spec, I have a guide on my YouTube channel, except Viva, I think, for this at this point, but coming soon as well. And yeah, can highly recommend it. It's really good. Elementalist or Necromancer, really, really good specs to solo. Yeah. I'm tempted to buy Chante Valls for the spear. Should I wait for Visions of Eternity first? So it depends. If you can wait, if you're a patient person, yes, you could wait for that. But I'm not sure if the sale will happen actually when the new expansion comes out. Oftentimes the sale will happen with a bundle, and that might be a way like off. But there could be a sale coming, especially with the birthday sales coming up. So I'm not 100% sure. You could wait, but if you like the spear now, I think it might be worth investing. I think the spears are amazing, and Chante Valls in general is not totally bad as an expansion, of course, as well. Just the spears are obviously the best selling point for me, at least. So depends a bit how patient you are. I would say you might have to wait longer than the release of Visions of Eternity. That's the only thing that I can say for sure. Forgot to mention something with spear would be preferred, like spear. Okay, with spear. I mean, you could... What has good sustain with a spear? Let's think about it. It's not warrior. It's not guardian. I mean, it's not really revenant. I mean, you could play... to be honest, you could play Condition Quickness Herald. That's a surprisingly strong build. You have good self-sustain with that build. It's easy to play. It's not high APM at all. And it's, in my opinion, very underrated because you're a quick DPS that is extremely safe. So maybe check out this build. It's obviously not a full DPS, but I think for most people, playing a quick DPS or a full DPS feels almost the same. Especially if it's so easy and to upkeep it as a Quickness Herald. So I can recommend that one, yeah. It uses a spear, of course, on a Condi build, yeah. Just started Chante Valls. Any tips on which mastery are most important beside the spear? So I would say the Warclaw mastery is quite good. What else do we have in Chante Valls? Let's check. So the Lowline Cordon one, yeah, I mean, that's not that crazy. There are not that many things that are important. Homesteading, of course, not important if you're not engaging with homesteads. If you do, of course, it's more important. And then you have those. I think those ones can be quite helpful in the newer maps. But other than that, I think the Warclaw is probably the most important one, I have to be honest. So I would get this after like you got the spear one, I would say. Welcome, Luki. Welcome, welcome. I'm good. How are you doing today? Hopefully you're good as well. No, I couldn't give stability. gosh. I'm so sorry. My team was like, I was like sleeping on my stability and now I couldn't give them quickness either. Oh no. Poor dice. I did not forget. I did not forget. Very good. Power Soul Beast can work too. That is true. But I would say Power Soul Beast only shines if you know how to use your X5. And that is a somewhat challenging skill. But good point, good point. Soul Beast can also be a very decent build there to play. Yes, you can get boon tables, cleanse tables, CC, strips, everything works. There are so many things that you can actually set into your arc DPS, completely legal. You can just select what you want to get out of this specific window, and you can get all of those. And that can be quite helpful in some fights. Obviously, not all the fights are requiring you to have some kind of strips or condi cleanses or that kind of stuff. But for me, as someone that enjoys like theory crafting and that kind of stuff, it's quite nice to see that as well. Yeah. Yeah, Herald, I think Herald is probably a good choice there, like Chat mentions here. Is there a Thief build that is both fun and good in both World versus World and PvE? You could play full DPS, like Berserker Thief in roaming. It's surprisingly good as a Daredevil or as a Deadeye. And of course in PvE, full Berserker Thief works very well as well. So maybe this is something that can work. But of course, it's only in roaming. You would not pick this in Zerg play. Really, that's the negative. So if you want to play with 50 other people, full Berserker Thief is probably not the way to go. Can work in small scale, but in really big fights, it feels a bit painful. I enjoy Guild Wars 2, but I cannot find a class I really enjoy. Seems like I'm just struggling with something. That's a lot of people have that problem. I think just try out which class you actually enjoy. Play different classes, because actually playing characters in Guild Wars 2, a lot of different ones, is not too punishing. So just try the ones that you will enjoy the look of, and you will find something. That's my tip there. I want to get the Coalescence Legendary. Where can I find groups for POF raids? No one seems to pack those. So you have to go and find some guild trainings, I would say, and stuff like that, because those are considered the harder raids, and you don't really want to pack those harder raids if you don't have to. So that's the problem. But if you go into some guild like RTI or the other cool raiding guilds where you can get some raid trainings going, they also have some statics that are looking for people. So maybe you find this then there. I can highly recommend those. Yeah. Quickness DPS Herald. So you play Condi DPS Herald. That's an amazing build. You can check that one out. Yeah. Let me yeah, therefore. Very nice. Yeah, so that's the one. Quickness DPS Herald with Spear. I can recommend it. It's easy to play. Not like too punishing, especially on the quickness uptime. Really, really easy. Has some self-sustain baked in. And not like a lot of APM, to be honest. Yes, I can link it after this Dragonstorm. I can send you the link to that one. My first ever character I got was a level 80 Greatsword Chronomancer. I love unconventional use of weapons, and chunking Greatsword at my enemies is really up my alley. Yeah, I think that's really fun. And Greatsword on Mesmer actually makes somewhat of a return right now. It's actually surprisingly good on, for example, Power Virtuoso and Power Chronomancer. So yeah, definitely coming back to some extent. Are we too many people here, or what's happening? Welcome, Stingray. Do you have a build for Hybrid Healer Untamed? I can't seem to find it in your offensive healer spreadsheet. No, I don't have that one yet. The problem with Untamed Healer is, and that's why I don't really want to promote it, is it has zero, and I'm really not joking, zero access to stability. And that's like in like 90% of the content, just a no-go. You would never use a healer where you have no stability access, like nothing. It's impossible. And that's the problem. That's why I don't want to promote healing Untamed, because it's just like, it feels like you are grieving your group to some extent, you know, and I don't want to have a healer that I know is a decent player, yeah, but it's just impossible to apply some stability with this build. So I would rather not promote this build until they buff it. I really hope the next balance patch gives Untamed some kind of stability access for the party, and then I will instantly make a video. Don't worry about it, yeah. That's the idea. How about the Condi Spear Mech? Is it any good? Yeah, it's really good. It's a really good build, low intensity, but it doesn't have any self-healing in that sense. It's really like you want to make this as a DPS build, play a Condi, somewhat ranged build. Yes, Condi Mech is amazing, but you will not have any self-sustain. It's like you are fully relying on your party, which is completely fine in most cases, but I think that's what the person here asking in chat was asking about, was some kind of self-heal, and that's like not really the case with Mech. Heal Firebrand or Heal Berserker, what do you think? I think for like 90% of the player base, Heal Berserker is actually better. It's like a tough choice. People don't get this at first, but I think Heal Berserker is easier to play, and therefore you will perform way better in like 90% of the cases. If you are really tryharding and really know what you're doing, Heal Firebrand is superior because you have more flexibility with reflex, with more stability uptime and more H's output, stuff like that. But that's really niche. Not a lot of players actually need that for the most part, and you can see I have 11 boons almost permanently here. So it's an amazing, easy to play healer that provides a lot of value to its party. So yeah, please play probably Heal Quickness Berserker over Heal Firebrand. I would really recommend it, especially if you're a new player. Is it normal to feel so squishy in the open world as Tempest? Yeah, power gear is really like, especially on a mentalist, all light armor classes in particular, power gear makes you quite squishy. So you have no toughness in there, no vitality, makes you quite squishy, yes. So it's normal, and you just either have to live with it or yeah, play some more tanky, maybe a Condi build, maybe some Celestial or stuff if you can't survive any other way. But you will at some point like get used to it, I guess. I personally don't mind it anymore, but I can see why new players struggle with it to some extent, for sure. I tried it while doing in an Ice meta, and I just felt like I would die so quick. Yeah, I mean, Celestial can be the solution for that, but don't forget that oftentimes Celestial has less DPS if you are in an ideal scenario. But of course, if you're someone that actually knows how to survive on a power build, you will do way more damage. But if you don't know how to survive and you go downstat, then you will have less damage than a Celestial bit that survives. Keep that in mind. Thank you so much, Silent Shadow Leaf. Really appreciate it. Thanks for the 5 gifted sub. Thanks so much. I didn't see it earlier. I was just so focused on the chat here. Thank you so much. Amazing. Really nice. Appreciate the support. Really, really nice. Thank you so much. I'm experienced. I cleared wing 1 to 4 and wing 8, just skipped wing 5 to 7. Yeah, then the problem is like right now you have a player base that is really focused around like either they didn't do raids at all and they want to get into raids and are learning, or you have a really tryhard player that played like for years and did all raids perfectly, and there is almost no mediocre group like you are. And that's a little bit sad. So you don't find people that are somewhat skilled at the game, but did not get all the legendaries from the raids associated with it and stuff like that. And that's a little bit sad. So, like I said, you can still join this raid training discords and ask for some kind of static where you could join there, or find people that are like-minded than you, because those might be on those servers way more than they are, for example, in like the raid LFG. But other than that, maybe create your own groups. If you have a commander tag, that can help a lot to find people. But yeah, it's not easy. It's not that easy. Yeah. Okay, so I want to send the Quick DPS Condi Herald. Let's go there. 1 second. I will send you the link. So I send it here in chat. This is the build that I meant in Twitch chat. It's really important that you play this build. It's really easy, nice to play. Yeah. And I can also send it here in YouTube for the people on YouTube. Give me a second. This is the build that I just sent in Twitch chat. Can highly recommend it, yeah. Welcome, Wadop, welcome. Watch a lot of your YouTube videos. They helped a lot. So thanks, no problem. Always happy to help. Always happy to help, especially if you are like appreciating my support. Really good, I like it. So let's clean up the inventory. I actually have a Heal Berserker video out already on my YouTube channel. So if you just go there and check my healing Berserker builds, there is one already out. Yes, I have one of that, and it's really like, it showcases it quite perfectly and explain every single thing that you actually want to get. There we go. Let's do some COCM. That's what we do. What class has a good DPS build that has medium APM rotation and has a quick DPS option? I tried Necromancer, but with the long cooldowns and long cast times, it felt really slow. I think low APM. Let's think about it. Or medium APM. I would say you want to have a class or an elite spec, because the same elite spec sometimes... let's think about it. I mean, low APM. So I guess Scrapper could work. Scrapper is really easy to play in that regard. It's just like one trade swap, and that works quite well as well. Other than that, I don't know what else works. Thanks for the raid, Boroto YouTuber. Thanks a lot. Welcome to the stream. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, I think personally, probably the way to go is probably Scrapper. I think Quickness or DPS Scrapper are somewhat not on the very high side of APM, while being somewhat useful for most cases. Oh, they are engaging already. Let's focus on this boss for now. It's after all a challenge mode, you know. Challenge mode, concentrate here. And yeah, I wasted my whole attacks in the invulnerability. That's good. But I expected that we got it down instantly. That's fine. Classic. Yeah, but I think the quickness builds, that's really weird that I just noticed when I went over all the quickness builds. A lot of quickness builds actually have somewhat high APM compared to other DPS builds. So if you want to have a DPS build that is also a quickness build, sometimes you actually have to admit that there is just a lot of APM, high APM options. Maybe someone in chat has a different recommendation, but I think Scrapper might be your choice. I think Herald could work, but Herald is, I would say, you'd never play a full DPS Herald. That's not what you play. No one plays that because it's just not good. So I can't recommend that one personally. But I'm not sure. I don't know what else, to be honest. I think Scrapper is probably the one that I would choose. Maybe Untamed, actually. Untamed might also work. It's Untamed is, I would say, weird because Untamed is not high APM, but it has a lot of different buttons that you might want to press. That's a little bit different for some players. But I would personally actually, I personally actually would recommend Untamed as well, if you are an Untamed enjoyer. So let's see if we can get this first try here. What are they doing? They just dodged into each other. Classic. The quickness uptime is a little bit lackluster here, I have to be honest. But it's fine. Hopefully we get the kill anyway. And now we get the split phase. So as always, if you have any questions, let me know. I will read the chat after this boss. I just don't want to grieve my group by reading chat during a CM. That's always not recommended. So I will answer all the questions after this. Yeah. Nice. We are doing fine now. I was not doing that hot with my DPS in the beginning, but now the DPS is fine. Just don't want to grieve my group in that way either. So trying my best here to keep the DPS up while talking and explaining what I'm doing. Oh no, we have the mechanic. There we go. That hits, that hurts. That really hurts. Would you recommend the Void Launch Discord? Yeah, I think those guys are also very nice. I would say almost every single raid related Discord server is highly recommended to just try it out, get there, and ask for some help, for some like-minded people, and you will find someone. I think that's really sad that Guild Wars 2 is currently in a state. If you want to find somewhat a little bit more try-harding players, it's often a little bit challenging to actually find them in the game. You really have to look at a third-party tool like, for example, Discord. But if you do that, you actually, in my opinion, find it quite easily. I was like, back in the old day, obviously it's a while ago, but back in the old day, I was like looking for static for raids. Back like, it was not when raids came out, it was after like a while, like maybe like 5 years ago, and I was looking for static, and I was going to one of those Discord servers, and I found one within a week. So if you are looking for it and are willing to go to third-party tools, you actually find it. It's just, it takes some commitment outside of the game. But other than that, I think it's definitely quite easily doable, to be honest. Why do I always get the mechanics? I want to do some damage and want to get some quickness, you know, that's the two things I want. Other than that, I'm somewhat happy with this group. No one died yet. Okay, let's concentrate a bit more. Just that we don't die here. My quickness uptime is horrible. How high is it? Like 50%? That's not good. Not feeling good, I can tell you that much. This is one of the easiest challenge modes. I just don't want to grieve my group just because it's easy, you know. Reading chat is always bad. If you don't look at your gaming screen, you might die even in the easiest fights. That's why I really want to like commit my full vision, full concentration on the fight here. Even though it feels painful to not have quickness, I have to be really honest. Yeah, sometimes we get some quickness, but it's not good enough, to be honest. I want perma quickness. It's okay. Condi Quick Harbinger is really easy. Yeah, I think Condi Quick Harbinger is really easy as well. Maybe you should give that one a try. I think that's a good point. But the problem is I don't really want to recommend a lot of people to play Condi builds, especially on quickness builds, because oftentimes power build is just superior. For example, Power Harbinger with a quickness build is, in my opinion, a lot of times just straight up better than the Condi version. The problem is Condi is in longer fights like raids and some fractals definitely viable, but in shorter fights like open world or in normal challenge mode or not non-challenge mode fractals, it's definitely not worth actually playing a Condi build. So I think power builds are way more like user-friendly because you can play them everywhere. Whereas a Condi build is a little bit like sometimes you don't want to play a Condi build. That's the sad truth there. Yes, you might give that same argument for power builds as well, but I think it's actually way less common to not want to have a power build on a boss than having not really want to have a Condi build on the same boss. I hope that makes sense. So, almost there. We only lost one person. That's okay. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how many more we will lose. It's a little bit painful. Oh, the quickness is it's really like it's painful. I'm not sure if you see that on stream, but like having not having quickness is like completely like destroying my rotation, and it feels so bad. It just feels so bad having no quickness in an organized squad. I'm trying my best, you know, it's following somewhat of my rotation, but I'm canceling like half of my skills because I expected to have a shorter cast time. No. Okay, we're getting there. 25%, almost there. I think we lost our support there. That's why we don't have any quickness now. Before we had 50%, now we don't get any anymore. Okay, better having 50% uptime of quickness than 0. But both don't feel that great, to be honest. Okay. 17%. Almost done with the torture here. Get some CC probably soon. Soon. We lost now 2 players. That's okay. There we go. CC. What build would be good for lag DPS with medium AP and no mech? I have a lot of guides on my YouTube channel. You can just type !builds or scroll down in the description. There's a link to all my builds. It's a spreadsheet and you find them there. And what kind of builds, I just go over it in my head, what kind of builds are actually worth using on a like low APM scenario. What's a good one? I guess Celestial Tempest. I think that, or Tempest in general, can be somewhat low APM on Alacrity. Yeah, I think maybe Tempest would be a good choice. What else do we have that is low APM? I think the problem is a lot of support builds are somewhat spammy. There are a lot of low intensity DPS builds and some low intensity healing builds and some low intensity support builds, but not that many, to be honest. Not that many. There we go. We did it. We did it. Wasn't that hard. And there's always one guy that doesn't GG. The usual. If you GG here, you get 3 more blue spirit shards for whatever reason. So that's what we do. And there we go. We did it. So now let's catch up, chat. Welcome, Tedet. Welcome. Yeah, makes sense. Now have fun with Guardian. I have a lot of guides on it. Just check them out and you will find a really nice build there as well, of course. I can't get to save my gold, have more than 7 legendary weapons and 7 legendary armpits, full sets, but always find something to buy. How do you save gold? It's patience and like somewhat, yeah, just focusing on your goal. It's really like some people have a harder time doing that than others. I personally try to be somewhat patient all the time. But I can understand why you would buy all the time some stuff. Is there a good tip? Not really. Just stay focused. That's the only real advice I can give you. If you are going for a new legendary, stick to it until you have it. And don't buy like unnecessary skins from the gem store or something like that. That's the biggest tip that I can give you, sadly. Other than that, I don't know. Not really something, to be honest. I'm sorry. Yeah, Luminary looks great. Looks good. Is it possible to tune Scrapper build to be able to solo champion hardest bosses as easy and with such high DPS and survivability as Mechanist? Not really. Mechanist is, if you want to have like really crazy solo builds, Mechanist is just better than Scrapper. Scrapper is good, don't get me wrong, especially in easy fights, but in hard fights, Mechanist outperforms because you have just more safety with the range, and Condi Scrapper is not really a thing in PvE. Yes, there might be a 4-kit Condi quickness Scrapper, but Mechanist is way better with Condi, and Celestial is just focusing Condi. So, not really Voidstack. Yeah. I've also found and used the Willbender Celestial Solo Open World bin, and I have a question with that one. Could I change the secondary weapon set to X Shield, since I don't really change into that, only if I need some CC? Of course you can do that. I mean, you always should adjust my builds, especially solo builds, to your playstyle. If you find the weapon choice is not that worth it, or the sigils, change it. Sure, it's really important. If you understand what you want to get done with the specific encounter, sure, change it. Yeah, for sure, makes sense. Just keep the pistols, you really want to get the damage there. I wouldn't mind switching to a different elite spec for DPS versus what I used for quickness. I tried Scrapper a couple of times, but I kept fumbling over the 2 kits. Yeah, that's the problem. That's why I think Scrapper is not great. Then if you are willing to swap elite specs, then I think Mesmer is a good choice. Because Mesmer gives you access to Alacrity or quickness DPS with Chronomancer, which is not too high of APM. I highly recommend that one. I think it's really fun. And you can easily swap for a DPS build using almost the same gear to Virtuoso, and you play a power Virtuoso, have surprising good damage and very nice, like not really sustain, but you have defenses with blocks, invulnerability, evades, all in the baseline kit. So that's why I would recommend that one. But I'm a little bit biased because I think Mesmer is just a really broken class right now in PvE. That's why I would recommend it all the time. What would you say is the easiest to master, most fun melee and good overall? Oh my god, now it gets a little bit like very specific. So what is the easiest to master, most fun melee and good overall build? Probably Herald. I think probably Herald, yeah. Herald is easy to master because it doesn't have the highest skill ceiling, but it's good overall and really helpful in almost all groups that you would play it. Quick DPS Herald, yeah. It's a full melee build, really fun to play in my opinion, and somewhat easy to master, yeah. I actually have no preference over YouTube or Twitch viewers, so if you have any questions on either channel, ask them, and hopefully I will not like ignore or overlook you. So I hope that I didn't do that. If I missed any questions, just ask again. It's not some bad intent here. Just let me know. What would you say is the easiest to master, most fun really build? That's the same question. Yeah, I got this answer now. I think it's a Quickness Herald, yeah. So I say Condi builds are not that good for open world, but also say Condi Herald is good for open world. So the thing is, what I want to say here is Condi builds are really strong in solo scenarios, right? Because you can play Celestial. Celestial is a broken stat in PvE, especially in solo builds. But if you're in a group, power builds are better because oftentimes the fights are over faster and you don't really need to sustain from Celestial. So there is an argument for easy builds that are Celestial, and there's an argument for better builds or somewhat really good builds in a group scenario because you will not die there anyway. So it's like always, which kind of stuff do you value more? Yeah. So I think it's hard to say power is better than Condi in open world. It depends on what kind of situation you're in. That's the thing. Yeah. I'm curious how others approach playing alts. I'm finishing Legendary Armor and mainly play Guardian with no Legendary Trinkets. I'd like to try other classes. Should I make exotic gear for them? Or maybe another trinket set? Yeah, I would recommend that, yeah. I think if you want to play a different class and you have the money for it, go for exotics first and try how they feel. And if you like the class and the playstyle, you can easily still get to Ascended or Legendary gear even. But I would start with exotics, yeah. I definitely would do so, yeah. Even if it's then soulbound and you can't change it between the characters. I would still definitely do that. Yes, I answered this, and the answer is for the easiest to master, most fun melee build and good overall is probably Quickness DPS Herald with Sword or something like that. I can highly recommend it. I have a guide on my YouTube channel. It's really easy in open world, really strong in instance content as well. Good boon uptime. Quickness DPS Herald, yes. If I play Mesmer and do a Chrono boon DPS, is it better to go Condi or Power? So it depends. I would say Chrono boon DPS, I would prefer in most circumstances to have a Condi Chrono if I want to have a better support, but if I want to have higher damage, I want to go with the power version. So both of them are valid. Choose what you like the playstyle more. I think both of them are quite similar. Just keep in mind that the power version can also use the equipment on a power virtuoso, whereas the Condi version can't be used on a Condi virtuoso because Condi virtuoso uses a weird mix of rampages and that kind of stuff. So sometimes it's a little bit annoying to swap the gear around. I use my scrapper only to play quick DPS and fractals. I mean, that's fine. That's fine, yeah. What do you think of Condi Spectre and World vs. World roaming? Is it better than Power Spectre? Yeah, I think so. I think Condi Spectre is better for roaming, at least in my opinion, yeah. So Herald, if you don't know what skills to upkeep and stuff, watch my guide. I have a guide on my YouTube channel about Herald where I talk about each specific upkeep and when to use it and when not. Be sure to check that one out. Highly recommend it. Because Herald is, in my opinion, very flexible and you can easily swap what kind of upkeep you want to run because sometimes you want to have protection, sometimes you want to extend the boons. That's really, really strong on Herald, the flexibility there. How are they versus Willbender? Willbender is fun as well. The problem with Willbender is it's really high APM. Each Willbender build is high APM to the maximum. It's really spammy. It's like you spam your cooldowns and then you get cooldown resets all the time and you spam your cooldowns even faster. It's like insane. Maybe I'll play some Willbender later in Fractals, but it's definitely something that if you want to have a low or medium APM build, Willbender is not really the choice for that one. That's like the only thing that I can tell you there. If you like it, go for it. Just warning you, it has high APM. Yeah. Can you explain why Power Untamed with Maces can sustain so much? So Untamed has a lot of baked-in sustain, and one of the craziest traits that Ranger has, and Untamed makes use out of that the most, is when you CC an enemy, you get healed for 3k. And you have so many CCs, and each time you CC, you get healed. So that means you can CC and heal and CC and heal and like do that all the time and you get crazy heals. That's just one of the things, but that's one of the most broken things. So that's why Untamed is so broken. Yeah. Especially in a solo scenario. Welcome, HSP. Don't forget that World vs. World has merchant NPCs that can sell exotic with that selectable for very cheap. That is true. If you play World vs. World, highly recommended one. Yeah, for sure, for sure. If you play at Halloween, you get recipes for an exotic armor set. Yes, that is really, really good tips here in chat. Yeah, that's good. Halloween will come up probably like in 2 months. So yeah, you can, if you can wait for that and don't play World vs. World, it's a good choice for sure. Yeah. Do you know the rotation for spear greatsword power DH? I found a build on YouTube, but the guy opens up with the spear, then stays on only in greatsword. Is the spear rotation hard? So, is it hard? I mean, let's check it out. We can, because the rotation is always, I would always, if you want to play a PvE build, go to Snow Crows. That's the thing that I would always recommend, going to Snow Crows. Yeah, 1 second. And we go to Guardian and Spear Greatsword, and we can show this here. So you should see it now. Give me a second. Yeah, you should see it. There we go. So this is Spear Greatsword on Dragon Hunter. Yeah, that's what you asked for. And how is the rotation? It is somewhat like a typical Guardian rotation. You start with all your like very bursty skills on Spear, and then you swap all the time your weapons. You play on Greatsword, then you use your weapons, you go to Spear. That's the rotation. The problem is you always want to align your bursts while you have your Spear of Justice on the enemy. And that's something that can be a little bit annoying. But if you know how to do this and you played and followed the rotation here, it is perfectly fine. You would not only use Greatsword or only use Spear. You would use both of them all the time. That's what you would do. Yeah. How hard would it be to play Quickness Cutter and Fractals? It is not hard to play, but the problem is it is not the best with upkeeping wounds in some encounters because it's like a little bit reliant on the energy that you have and you can't pre-stacks. So it's a little bit like if the fight is somewhat long, it's very good, but if the fight is very fast, sometimes it can be a bit annoying with the quickness. So I would say it's really good in some situations where in Fractal CMs, for example, challenge modes, I would not recommend it. I would rather recommend it in tier 4s for most players. Hope that makes sense. Is Power Bladezone the new top DPS class? It is somewhat high in the top DPS. It's not the best DPS, but it's very high on it. It's like in the top 3, I would say, or top 5. Yeah, it's really, really strong. What do you think about Power Weaver's Sword Dagger in terms of APM? It's somewhat high. I would say if the highest APM build has 100% of the APM, then I would say Power Weaver has like 70%. So it's somewhat high, but it's not crazy high. It could be higher. Yeah, hope that makes sense. So if you want to play it, Power Weaver is surprisingly good. Yeah. So let's do some fractals, I guess. Yeah, let's go for that one. There we go. Let's go for some fractal gaming. Can you link that in the chat, please? Yes, I can do that. Give me a second. But you can just go to Snowcross and you will find the build there as well. You know, it's like Snowcross is an amazing tool for getting your builds. But I can, of course, link it here. Give me a second. There we go. This is the build that you just saw on screen. Highly recommended. Really easy to play. And strong build. So Alacrity DPS, don't forget, I have to swap my trait. There we go. What would be the best weapon to use Cutter DPS, Quickness DPS Cutter build? I would say Scepter Dagger for the Inferno build. And if you want to play power, you can sometimes even, or if you, yeah, Scepter, it's definitely Scepter Dagger, yeah. I would say for almost all situations. Scepter Focus can also work, but yeah, Scepter Dagger, it's the trade, yeah. Or the build, rather. No problem, always happy to help, always happy to help. So those DPS benchmark on the golem, do people actually hit those in practice on a real boss? So on a real boss, you will probably, especially if it's a somewhat hard boss or challenging boss, you would not hit those benchmarks. But the important part, and the benchmark here is not about, so to say, oh, this is the benchmark, you will reach that in a real fight. That's not how this benchmark should be understood. The benchmark is always about, this is the number that you can reach with this build. That means that if you compare to other build that you also tested on the golem, and you have a 10k difference, then it means one build does way more damage than the other build. That's the thing that you have to understand. It's not about that this build will reach this number in a real fight. It's just that a build that has 10k more DPS on the golem will typically also get more DPS in a real fight. So always understand it a bit. Yeah, so keep that in mind. But of course you're right. You will typically not reach 53k as a Condi Mirage on a real fight. But it's obviously a really high damaging build, and you might outperform it in a real fight because of that. Hope that makes sense. If I go Mesmer, is it best to do Condi Chronomancer or Boon DPS or Power Chronomancer? All of them work. Choose the one that you enjoy. I personally like Power Chronomancer more, but that's more my personal take. It's not really like you can play everything that you want, yeah. Is it possible to buy Grandmaster armor marks in PvP? Yes. So the thing is, you get them passively from playing PvP, and you can't buy them there, but you will get them, of course, passively. So one second, what will I be? Will I be Gluttony or Alacrity DPS? To switch my class then. Maybe I want to be Gluttony. I don't know. I wanted to showcase some Willbender gaming, so maybe I can get some Gluttony here. Let's see. Engineer in PvP is I would say A tier. It's not S tier, but it's a decent build. You can play a lot of Engineer builds, they are somewhat okay. They are not like absolute meta, but especially Holosmith, Scrapper can work quite fine. Okay, I'm Gluttony. That's nice. I can showcase some Willbender gaming here for you. Is it worth having Armorsmith at 500 after the Legendary Armor set? I personally wouldn't say so. I think, I mean, the thing is, leveling crafting professions to 500 is a one-time thing. So if you want to get everything in the game done, it's definitely worthwhile doing. But if you are like doing specific like things only and not everything in the game, I'm not sure if it's like the most important thing. Is that the build? Let's check. It is. Just have to equip the right build here. Give me a second. Yes, there we go. What? This is, I'm not joking. This is my favorite build in the game. I'm not joking. My favorite build in the entire game. I want to showcase this here on stream as well. I also want to do a YouTube video about it very soon. This is a build that is so fun that you can only play it in a single encounter. I'm not joking. You only play this in a single encounter. So let's do this correctly. There we go, we did it. And I will explain in a second why. But first answer the question here in chat. When I did this puzzle here, very good. Yeah, it's somewhat spammy, but it's definitely worth learning. I think that's true for almost any builds in Guild Wars 2, to be honest. Let's try it again. Oh, they did it. Very good. They did it. Is their best Engie build? I personally would say Holosmith is amazing with short bow, especially if you play ranked. I really recommend that one. But there is also a very good scrapper build right now that you can also try out. It's also quite fun to play. Scrapper with a hammer, really good for DPS as well. And some tankiness in there. Those two are the best, I would say. Yes, exactly. The best build is the one that you enjoy. Always true, always true. There is not a single good, crazy build that you should play all the time if you don't enjoy it. Definitely true. But the thing is, if you play a build that you enjoy and it's complete garbage, that's also not helping, especially if you're playing in a group scenario. So sometimes find a middle ground there, definitely. So now let's talk about it. Why is this build my favorite build? This build is only good in this specific challenge mode in Fractals. Why is that the case? Because in this end boss fight, you actually want to have lifesteal. So this is a build that uses the Atrocity Relic, so 15% increased lifesteal, on a Willbender, which doesn't have any lifesteal baseline. Why is this build now good? Why does that even make sense? So the answer to this question is that there is a specific mechanic in the end boss here where you get a lot of lifesteal. And if you have a lot of multi-hit attacks, which Willbender with this setup has like insane amounts, you get 100k DPS on this fight. I will see that in a second. And it is amazing. It's really fun to play. Definitely the most like fun theory crafting in terms of builds. So I really liked it. I like to play that a lot. But sadly, you not always can do that. Depends a bit on your group, of course, if you have the correct setup for that. But I will try to showcase this here. So yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. I will try to explain what I'm doing here. But it's an amazing, very fun build. And you will see that in a second when we get to the end boss after killing those guys here. I'm not the biggest fan of this Fractal in general, but with this build it makes it very, very fun to play Fractals. Nice, Tedded, very good. Have fun with Ura, CM. Yeah, it's not the easiest boss to learn. But if you get it, very good achievement. I like it, I like it. Good luck. And have fun, of course. Isn't the optimal build here the power one? Yes. So on this boss, or not this specific boss, but on the end boss, you want to run a full DPS Willbender with as many hits as possible. So I'm running the CM build here that is very, very strong in dealing a lot of damage with a lot of multi-hit attacks. I'm running a power build. This is a power build, yeah, complete power setup, just with the most amount of hits that is possible. And if I get all the lifesteal orbs, so the gluttony orbs, I do a lot of damage. That's the idea here. So I'm running a power build. My gear is power. It's Berserker. So I hope that makes sense. I tried to explain it a bit further later, but this is really like a build that is only useful in this boss fight. Only. Really, it's not nowhere else. Nowhere else. So let me set up my arc DPS for a second. I wanted to showcase my damage here. Self-stats, that's what we want. Self-stats. Here you can see my self-DPS. That's the only metric where you can see how much DPS I do in the top left-hand corner. So let's do some. I definitely need the lifesteal food here, and yeah, let's do this fight. One of my least favorite fights with my all-time favorite boss like builds. So yeah, interesting combination for sure. So I have to collect the gluttony orbs, so the orange ones, and then you will see my damage skyrocketing as soon as I get those. And before that, I have like 0 damage. Ooh, they are there. Almost missed them. Just explaining stuff while I'm going here and then forget what I'm actually needed to do. Not good, not good. But you see my lifesteal already. I didn't need to go for some CC here. And go for more damage. So you can see already I'm at like 36k and I don't even have the important thing going. So let's wait. Please don't do it. Don't deal damage. Don't deal damage. I need another one. Yes. Yes, I got another one. So that means I get more up globules. That means I get more DPS in the end. 12 stacks, 11 stacks rather. Amazing damage already. You will see that in a second. Look at this. Look at those lifesteal numbers. That's insane. That's why this build is so broken. That's really like the whole reason for that build being strong. Other than that, you would never run that. It's really like only because of that. Only because of that. I have like already 70k DPS here on the fight. And it will just go higher. It will just increase. We will get more globules. Hopefully up to a few more stacks. But let's see. There we go. Some damage out. And hopefully one more. No, he didn't do the attack. That's a little bit sad, but it's okay. Almost 100k now. Nice, we burned instantly the face. You see how good this build is. This is why this build is so strong. This is why you play this weird power mix with crazy multi-hits just to actually get all the attacks out. That's really like the whole reason for that one. Nice, we get some cleave, very good. We have to cleave here as fast as possible. 120 self stats. It will go up to 140 if I can play it correctly. Really, really strong build, a lot of damage. And we do enclose the... What? Nice, we closed it. We have almost no stacks. That's actually... Oh, we got some stacks here. That's okay. So that's fine. And hopefully we might get another one. No. Sadly not. Maybe after this attack. Yes, we get another one. Very good. Where are the globules? No, give me some stability. Very good. There are the globules. There are they. Get some more, and now we can go really high. You see, my lifesteal keeps me alive forever. It's impossible to die on this build, to be honest. It's like insane damage. I just have to keep hitting the boss and I get like insane damage numbers. I did not play it perfectly in the last phase, to be honest. That's a little bit sad, but it's okay. We get the kill here, I think, for sure. And with that, I think we can finish the boss here. And you can see why this build is so fun. I reached almost 100k. It was not perfect in the last phase. We got some globs here and we didn't get the perfect like metric for that one. But good enough. Good enough. I take it. Yeah, that's a really fun build. That's why I want to play Gluttony all the time. Yeah, exactly. It's more really it's different for you. For me, it's exactly the opposite. I really like to play this build, but only in this really specific encounter. And I personally don't like playing this like on any other build. It's really just this like this specific build makes this fractal fun. Anything else? No, not really. Is toughness any important in World vs. World? I prefer Berserker stats with vitality, but was just wondering. So toughness is a really good stat in World vs. World, especially in Zergs, but in group play or in solo play, if you're roaming around, toughness might not be like the best option. It depends a bit on what kind of player you are. I personally say toughness and vitality can both be really good. What's the difference? Why would you run toughness in some situations? Let me explain it a bit further. Because I personally think people don't understand. People always say, oh, I have more health, you know, that's a good thing, you know. More health is amazing. Yes, more health makes you tankier. That is true. You get more HP. But the amount of healing you have to do to get up to maximum health is also increased. So if my healing skill gives me like 5.5k healing, I have 25k health, it's like 20%. If I have only 18k health, it's like over 25%. So the healing skill gets more value if you have less vitality, and toughness gives you more effective HP by being able to tank more direct damage. So toughness, so to say, increases the value not only of your effective HP, but also increases the value of your actual healing value that you actually get for the same skills. So I hope that makes sense. But of course you're right, against conditions, against specific builds, Vitality might be way more worth it as well. So toughness has definitely a place in like a lot of situations, not only in World versus World, but also in PvP and PvE. But it is definitely more niche than playing a full power variant and doing just a lot of power damage. Hope that makes sense. Hope that makes sense. Yeah, this build is really, really fun. I mean, to be honest, this build is like a build that only works in a specific use case, and therefore I think it's like a very crazy theory craft, and it's a very dumb build in that regard because you would never play it anywhere else. But because of the cool, interesting idea that you have to run some lifesteal relic and that kind of stuff, it's just really fun to me. I personally think it, to be honest, if we would have more builds like that, I would enjoy it. But this particular build is just like, it feels a little bit, I don't know, strange to play this build because it's like really like relying on the strength of having Willbender with a lot of spammy attacks and just losing a lot of multi-hit attacks, AoE attacks and stuff like that. But I personally think it's fun to have some crazy theory crafting like this. I really think so. But yeah, that's just my take. I can completely understand the type train when if you say, oh, that's a dumb build that should not exist in that way. I can totally understand that. It feels weird because it's really like the only build that you would run in this scenario. You know, there's almost no other power DPS or any DPS build actually for that matter that comes somewhat close with the amount of multi-hits and gluttony damage that you can do. It feels a little bit like lackluster if you play any other build. Yeah. Do you just know the APMs for builds off the top of your head? So most builds that you ask here, I already played, so I just remembered the APM roughly. Of course, I don't know the exact number, but I actually remember what kind of skills I use and how fast I have to press them. But the best resource for getting all your builds in PvE especially is always going to Snowcrows. Highly recommend this website. It's amazing for just looking for any DPS builds or any builds in general in PvE. No, I didn't have quickness. But yeah, it's not that I know all of them by heart. It's just I played them and therefore I know roughly how much they actually have. Yeah, it's obviously, you're right there. It's crazy that it works that well and that you have to play this build because it's so much better than any other build. But I think it's a fun idea, you know. If you had a build that would be a little bit worse than that, but you would use that on specific different encounters all the time, builds, specialized builds like that, I think that would be a really cool idea. But I think it's really hard to design encounters around that because it's just like, how can you make sure that a specific build is good in a specific encounter? For me as a theory crafter, I think you can almost always come up with a build that does the same thing on a different class. So I think it's, oh my god, they came back exactly as the spin happened. That's what you get for doing mechanics. Yeah. Yeah, but I like that. I like that build for sure. It's interesting. Hopefully we get an orb. Otherwise we have no healer here, I think. Playing without a healer is a little bit risky in this challenge mode. It's not bad. It's not the craziest damage build, but the craziest damaging like encounter. But it's a little bit annoying. That much is for sure. We have a Scourge. That's nice. We get some cleanses because of that. But it still feels not like amazing to play with a no healer here. Welcome, Moody. Welcome. Hammer Dragon Hunter? Yeah, Hammer Dragon Hunter is a really cool build as well. Of course, it depends on which situation you want to play. I think Hammer Dragon Hunter is one of the best low intensity builds out there. Can highly recommend it if you want to play it just low intensity wise. But it might not be the best choice for Fractals, for example, or especially challenge modes, because you really want to have something that actually does a lot of like damage, bursty damage, and Hammer Dragon Hunter is just like a straight line almost. Like that's it. You really want to like, that's it, just like start out of the fight and then you have the same DPS for the rest of the whole fight. But can we get it? That was like not nice. We lost like a lot of time for this cleaning, but it's okay. Welcome, Devour. Welcome. One question, I play Revenant, currently Core Revenant. I don't have the points for Herald. Is the sustain getting better? Yes. Herald sustain is way better than Core Revenant sustain. Yes. It's amazing. It's actually one of the best builds for sustain if you use your skills correctly, because you have insane amount of like healing from one skill, where you can get like insane amount of damage inversion. So when you take damage, you get all of that in an instance as healing, which is obviously absolutely broken in some encounters, and you get crazy amounts of healing out of that. So Herald is definitely tankier or more sustainy than it is on Core Revenant, definitely. Exactly, you know, the lifesteal, the leeching, you had leeching sigil and the frostbow and that kind of stuff. Yeah. Old times in Solid Ocean where I think, to be honest, I think that's interesting mechanics, interesting design. I'm not sure if that was intended, probably not, but I think it was really fun, you know, having some kind of theory crafting by the community that makes a fight faster. I think that's cool, you know, if it's not completely game breaking, I mean, it's cool to me. I think, no, I didn't. No quickness feels so bad in this fractal, to be honest. Welcome, Phoenix. I'm a returning player. I've played till Heart of Thorns expansion. Would you recommend to buy the remaining expansions? So I personally would say yes. How many people are dying here? That's so insane. This fractal is not hard at all, you know, and people are dying left and right here. So what can I say? I personally would say all the expansions are worth it for me as someone that enjoys it, but you can start out playing with only the one that you actually want to get, for example, Path of Fire and maybe End of Dragons and something, and then go for like Chancellor Wilds and the new one and Soto maybe a little bit later. But I would recommend getting them. They are definitely worth it, but it depends how much you play, how much like different builds you want to try, how much meta builds you want to play. Spear is obviously quite common, and you get that only with Chancellor Wilds. So there are arguments to buy all of them for sure. If you want to do it and if you want to purchase it, be sure to check out using my referral link. For no additional cost, you can support me. But I would say you will be fine currently in the game for just playing with Heart of Thorns and just try to get back and have some fun. And as soon as you notice that you want to get some more content that you didn't get before or something like that, ooh, that was a nasty position, but yeah. So then you can purchase another expansion. I think you don't have to buy all of them just because it's currently what is like the go-to thing. You can easily say, okay, I will just play the game with Heart of Thorns and I will purchase it whenever I feel the need to. It's definitely not necessary to have anything else than Heart of Thorns or any other expansion for that matter. But I would say, especially if you want to go into try-hard content and want to experience the full game, for sure, getting all the expansions is a good way. But maybe some people in chat here have other opinions. They, of course, are quite happy. I think Snorkers is amazing for group PvE builds like raids, but if their open builds aren't that great, yeah, I think, to be honest, if you are looking for a resource that has all kinds of builds for not only PvE but everything, I can highly recommend my YouTube channel. I don't want to self-promote too much, but I think I put a lot of effort in my YouTube channel, and I have, like, at this point, a lot of builds. You can type !builds in the YouTube chat, in the Twitch chat. And on YouTube, you can scroll down in the description. There's a link to my build spreadsheet, and I have every single build that I have a guide on my YouTube channel about, covering PvP, World versus World, Circ builds, covering also, like, of course, PvE builds for raids, open world solo builds, low intensity builds. Everything is covered on this channel, so be sure to check it out if you're looking for a specific build. The spreadsheet should actually name all of it. Hope that makes sense. Is it better than Dual Mace Untamed? I also played that one, it was unkillable. Yeah, Dual Mace Untamed is extremely tanky. I think it depends on the situation. I personally would say Dual Mace Untamed is a little bit more tanky, but it is definitely quite close. If you use your healing skills and stuff at the correct time, it can still outperform the healing of Untamed, I would say, in some situations. It always depends on your playstyle. If you like it, go for it, I would say. Both are really good, yeah. I did not play Guild Wars 2 from release, actually. It might seem like it, but I actually did not. I started playing Guild Wars 2 like I purchased the game in 2013, and I really started playing the game in, like, I don't know, I think it was like 2015 or something, or 2014 when I really started playing. I got the game, I was not like that intrigued by it at the first glance, and I stopped playing for almost a year, and then I came back after that. So 2014, something like that, was when I really started playing the game. And after that, I had some breaks, like sometimes I had up to 6 months, sometimes even like 9 month breaks. So I was not playing like permanently, but I was somewhat like following the general like direction of how the game looks and what happens and stuff. So I never really quit completely. that was like, I would say 10 years is like when I really played a lot of Guild Wars 2 over the last 10 years. Yeah. I played the base game for like 4 days, got hooked and bought the big bundle on Steam. I mean, that makes sense, you know, that's like, if you like the game, I think it's so worth it, you know. I have at this point like over 10k hours in the game, which is obviously quite a lot. But if you then look at how much money I spend on the game, which is just for the expansions, I never bought any big gems stuff, yeah. So it's like extreme value. It's extreme value. If you look for other games that I have like played that much, you will look forever. I don't have any. So for just that much money, it's just insane how much value I get out of this. So if you're somewhat close to what I like to play, then you have amazing times ahead. And you can easily purchase all the expansions and you will have fun. Of course, if you are somewhat committed to the game and don't swap games all the time. But still, highly recommended. Do you think they will work on some more of the content and on the underwhelming specs? Yeah, I think so. Definitely. I actually think it's very likely that the beta event coming up next week will give us some changes after that as well. So I really suspect there will be some challenges in terms of balancing, but I think also they might actually look at some gameplay mechanics and change them as well. For example, Conduit looks a little bit weak in PvE. As a support build, you will not play it as a support build at all, and I think they will look at this. And I think also Evoker might have some changes to the boons that it applies. Stuff like that. I'm very positive that they will make some adjustments depending on the beta feedback, for sure. Yeah. I think a full rework of an elite spec is possible, but to be honest, I'm not completely sure if they have the resources for that. Or if they say that that's too much effort, we already put a lot of effort into those. We don't want to waste, or not waste, but put even more effort in. So I'm not really convinced that there will be a full rework of an elite spec, but I can see that there will be some changes that are somewhat drastic, like boon changes, like complete mechanic changes, even some number changes and stuff like that for sure will come. If there will be a full rework, like completely scratching the mechanic, I doubt it. I think that's quite unrealistic, but there can still be some quite good changes coming, even if it's not like a full rework. I would like to see Elementalists using Greatsword. Yeah, I think a lot of people asked for Greatsword or Longbow, and we didn't get any new weapons for Elementalist or for any elite spec for that matter. So yeah, that's just, I guess, that's how we proceed right now. We don't get any new weapons, and Elementalist mains that want Greatsword or Longbow have to wait a bit longer. That's no stability set. Thought we had a Firebrand, you know, Firebrands are really good with stability uptime, but apparently I got too much. I could have also dodged, you know, that's it. How many hours do you have? Yeah, I have roughly like, I think 13k hours. That's the hours that I have. So quite a lot for sure. It could have been way better spent in real life, I would say. But in terms of like comparing it to other content creators and other players that played Guild Wars 2 since launch, it's actually not that much. There are people that have way more. But yeah, it's definitely a high number. 13 hours, so not 30, 13, that's the number that I have. 13,000, yes. Yeah, definitely. I think the beta event is definitely something that is like defining how it goes, and if the elite specs are looking good or not. I think you will definitely have to wait until you get the feedback of the beta event. There might be some changes that are somewhat drastic. Come on. What is that? No one succeeded. I thought we have a support with a sanctuary. It's okay, it's okay. Next time I will use my Moa here, just to make sure I don't trust my support. So now it's happening. Let's do it. Let's do it. Double CCing. So I CC'd quite a lot here. I'm not sure if we got enough CC though. Doesn't look like it. Nah, but almost. We did it. That's good enough. I take it. I take it. So here you kite the fears if you don't know. That's why I'm like running away like a headless chicken here. That's fine. Now we can go back in the fight. I don't have any quickness. Oh, I cancelled all my skills again. It's so bad. Feels bad, man. To see please. Yes, very good. And there we go. Finally done. Let's go into power fractals. That's what we like more, way more. Just got the title object in motion from the PvP change. Pushes out of the game again. We are back in the normal ranked. Very good. Did you like Push? Was it fun? Did you try it? Did you not try it? The new PvP game mode? What's your opinion on it? I personally liked it, had fun, but now it's gone. We are back in Conquest. Yes, Power Renegade is not there yet. Coming soon. Like I said, I have a very long list of to-dos. Power Renegade is obviously on there as well. Coming somewhat soon together with Condi Renegade. Those two are on my list. But you can't do like, I'm working like crazy on it. So that's it. It will come soon. It will come at some point. So Kinfolk Fractal. I was amazed by the passive feel of Untamed, but I'm also looking for a good support character, so I wasn't sure if Untamed is that versatile like Herald. So Untamed can be played as a quickness DPS, so you can play some support there, but it's definitely not like very like supportive. You can't play a full heal build. So Herald might be better there, but even Herald is not the best full healer. So I think you can easily play it as a somewhat supportive build as well, Untamed. If you like Untamed, you can play quickness DPS or full DPS Untamed in groups. And that's probably good enough to cover almost all parts of the game. You don't have to play a healer all the time. There are enough players that play heals. So if you play any support like quick DPS, that's fine, I would say, for most situations. I actually played at launch, but didn't last so long. I mean, it makes sense, you know. Sometimes Guild Wars 2 is very forgiving in that sense. You don't have to stick around forever. It's not some kind of game where you get punished for playing for only 2 weeks and then you come back after that. That's not the game, you know. You can come back anytime and you will have almost no punishment, so to say, for not playing permanently. That's what I like about Guild Wars 2 so much. It's quite casual friendly in that regard, and you get always rewarded for spending your time in the game. That's at least my opinion. Do they make quite big changes as per beta feedback? I would say the changes are mostly like medium to small. I would say most of the time it's like they change numbers, they change some kind of like how it feels, maybe some kind of targeting mechanics or something like that. And sometimes I would say they also change just a little bit the boon application. For example, sometimes you have, I don't know, resolution on a specific attack and then it's too weak and they give it stability instead or something like that. That can happen, but it's typically not something that you would say is like, okay, now we get an F4 and an F5 skill that we didn't have before. That's very unrealistic. So typically I would say the beta event feedback, yes, they take some feedback, of course, and buff and nerf stuff, yes, for sure, but it is not something that is like completely changing the class. It's not. So keep your expectations down, and I would say the classes from the power level look actually, all of them actually quite fine. It's more about that was obstructed. Oh no, my CC, please. Oh no. Almost ran away. Nice. We did get it after like 5 minutes of CCing. Very good. Is that speedrun idea still on the to-do list? It is. Actually, it really is. But the problem is, what can I say? Is it easy to make a speedrun video or something like that? Not that much, you know. Speedrunning stuff is always like, I have to put a lot of effort into editing and making it somewhat explainable so that people that didn't speedrun before can understand it. But the problem is always that I'm not sure how many people are actually really engaging with that. You know, I want to make videos that help players, a lot of players hopefully, and if I make a video that takes for me weeks to prepare and weeks to edit, it feels so bad if the video then doesn't get any views or not that many because people are just not into that. So that's the sad part here, yeah. And maybe I find myself a little bit bold in a bold state and will do it anyway at some point. But right now, in the next 2 weeks, I think I am already so covered with the beta event and the already existing videos that I want to do. I think I will get to it, Hype Train, really, I will get to it, you and the others. But right now, I'm not sure. I will try. I will do it. But then I can't promise you anything. I really don't know. Yeah. Solvit silver on Ura CM. Yeah, I mean, that's good enough, you know, better than not getting silver. It's obviously Ura on gold and especially clear on gold can be quite painful, but silver is better than nothing. Yeah, for sure. What do you think if they add an LFG like World of Warcraft in Guild Wars? That would be really good. I would really like that, but I'm not sure if they actually can do it. I think that's the problem here is if ANET actually can perform on that, if they actually can do that, or if it's like something technical that they can't put into the game or they don't have the resources for that, stuff like that. I'm not convinced that they actually will do it. I think the core feature LFG rework is quite likely, but if it's really something like a complete like LFG, I don't know, automatic duty finder or something like that, I'm not like completely convinced that they can even do that without too much effort. So yeah, I think it's cool and I hope we will get it, but I'm a realist, you know. Sometimes I don't want to get the hype up here without like having solid proof of that it will be like reasonable to expect something like that. I think an LFG rework is somewhat likely, but a full-fledged like duty finder, automatic right finder, group finder, I don't know. I think that's too hard to implement in Guild Wars 2. That's the sad part. I really hope so, but I'm not sure. Now again, the great visual effects on this fight. I mean, I like this fight, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying for a new player, there is a lot of visual clutter in this fight. So much like bright, icy attacks flying all around. Yeah, sometimes it can be quite painful to watch. But it's like almost, it teaches you to watch your screen and like see the attack patterns and stuff, like only like looking at the attacks and the telegraphing. I think it's actually a fun boss. I like it. It's not the hardest boss for sure, but I mean, not every challenge mode has to be crazy hard. Especially fractals at this point are not that hard anyway. So I like this boss. I like it. LFG would be nice, but what would there would be a lot of breaking things, yeah, for sure. There would be so many things in the game that would probably break if they would do an LFG like crazy overall, for sure. That is like very classic. If they have any crazy like reworks to any base features of the game, they would like almost half of the other features that they didn't rework would probably break with bugs. I don't know why this happens all the time, but it feels like it's quite common in Guild Wars 2 that we get crazy unforeseeable bugs. Like if they change some balance, then they sadly, for whatever reason, we got some balance changes to Scrapper and they nerfed, or they did not nerf, there was a weird interaction and Kadim 2 has some new auto tag or something like that. What? Why does that happen? You know, stuff like that. It's like, it's quite crazy. You know, it's just at this point, Guild Wars 2 things, I would say. So where's my alacrity? There we go. I really hope they add some boon application to Conduit. Yeah, I hope so too. I think in PvE it would be such a shame if it doesn't have any boon support, because then it just feels way worse, to be honest, than any other build. You can only play as a DPS, that's it. It feels a little bit sad because the flexibility is amazing, but the problem is it feels like the flexibility without having a boon support in PvE is not like, no one cares. So I really hope that they will actually give it, probably they will give it quickness, because we already have alacrity on Vindicator and Renegade, so maybe quickness makes sense. But Yeah, anyway, just one of those two would be amazing. I would like it, yeah. Yeah, nice that you like my PvP tier list. I'm not sure if I will do another one for push, because the thing is, push is already over, and if it comes back into the game like a long-term thing, yes, I will do a tier list for sure, but there was not that many changes since then. Scorch got a little bit back up, but that's about it. All the other builds stayed somewhat similar since the last time I did a push tier list. So just check out the old one, I guess. And it's like Scorch is higher up, but that's about it. So I was not like really convinced to do a full-fledged new tier list. Hope that makes sense. But if push comes back like full time, then I will definitely like... Are we all GG, I guess? Yes, there we go. Then I will do another tier list. Hope that makes sense. Yeah, see you, Hype Chain. Thanks for joining in. Yeah, I think it's unrealistic to expect really big changes to the LFG. It's just we didn't get that in the last few years, and probably for a reason, so I'm not sure if we will ever get it. That's just like a realistic statement. I hope we will get it, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying it feels like not that like realistic. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's something that they wanted to add with the core features, but it's not guaranteed. Okay. We almost got knocked off the platform. 3 people all at once. You think people buy enough blackline chests, they would have money to fix it? I don't know. I really don't know if that's like a big money provider, the blackline chests. You know, I did a video. It was like a few months ago. I opened 2,000 blackline chests. I mean, if you watch this video, you have probably a different like thought process on how to make money in Guild Wars 2. So yeah, what can I say? Blackline chests, it's a special thing, a very special thing. I have a very special like place in my heart for blackline chests. To tell you the least about this, yeah. So yeah, what can I say? I think Guild Wars 2 makes a lot of money from microtransaction. I'm not sure if blackline chests are the most like biggest selling feature. I think it's more likely to be something like the swimsuits or something like that. But that's about it, I would say. And we have a portal today, that's good. Yeah, spaghetti code for sure. That's the main problem. Is there a build like the one build for all game modes for Reaper? Yes, I actually have that. I have a build guide about Reaper. Reaper's one build for all Reaper, I actually have that, yes. You can just, there is a playlist on my YouTube channel about this, yes. Or just search for it, you will find it for sure. One build for all Reaper, you will find it, yes. Do you think there's gonna be a new DPS elite spec that will do more damage than Mirage? That's hard to, I would say in the beta event, for sure. In the actual release of the expansion, I'm not like 100% convinced that they will not nerf it that much down, but it could be. It actually could be. I think there are typically elite specs are so over the top in terms of like damage numbers that you probably have like 3 or 4 elite specs that have like 60k DPS. I think Antiquary looks like one of the craziest ones in terms of DPS outputs, but I think Gale Shot might be very high up. I think Conduit might actually be a high DPS build as well. I think Evoker might be really high up. Elementalist is generally always broken. I think even Troubadour might have a crazy DPS build. Ritualist might have a crazy DPS build. I'm not sure. We will see how the numbers turn out to be, but typically, especially in the beta event, we have seen crazy numbers. I'm not sure if they will make it into the actual end game, like version of Visions of Eternity, but yeah, it definitely is something worth considering if you want to like currently learn the Mirage build just because it does a lot of damage. In 2 months, it might not be the top DPS anymore. That might be true. Welcome, Arthur. Welcome. Don't be like me. I can play very well Cutter and Tempest in World vs. World, but I suck at Spectre. Yeah, I mean, that's okay. You know, the thing is, you don't have to play every single class perfectly. I think if you don't mind playing the same class all over, that's okay. I just like to play different builds and I like to try out different like rotations, different playstyles, because that's something that keeps me interested in the game. If I would always play the same class, I would get bored and probably quit the game after a while, just because there is not enough content for me to actually do if I only had to play a single build. But if I switch my builds, learn new builds, new stuff and all that good stuff, then it is something that is definitely, I don't know, keeping me playing, has a lot of longevity, and that's why I like to play different builds and of course make content about it as well. Hope that makes sense. So let's do this boss. And then I can catch up on chat again. Do we not have a reflect? We should have a reflect, shouldn't we? Should have brought a reflect, then I could have increased my DPS. Sad. Because if you have a reflect here on this boss, you actually get a lot of like damage, or somewhat of a damage increase as well, which is obviously quite nice, especially on a power build. So a little bit sad that I don't have reflect. I thought my firebrand would actually provide some feedback. Or some reflect rather. I have feedback, not the firebrand. How many people died here? What? What's going on? 2 people died here? What? How? Okay, I guess it's a reset. What's going on? Interesting. This is an interesting group. Doing 100 CM first try and failing like at multiple bosses during the other CMs. I don't know why. I think actually 100 CM is way more challenging than a lot of those bosses, but interesting. We take it. I guess I take no feedback. Yeah, I'm happy that I can help the community. You know, the community in Guild Wars 2 is great, and I wish there would be more content creators, and I'm trying my part to help the community and get more players excited for the amazing game. That's my whole purpose with my Guild Wars 2 videos. So now we got it. We got the feedback. Now we should also be able to skip it. Very good. Look at this difference. You know, nice DPS as well. Really good, really good. Good skill here. Now I don't have any CC, that's the sad part. Let's focus on this and get some damage down and do it this time like concentrate. You know, I don't want to feed my team here with unnecessary deaths. So trying my best to burst it down. Very nice, we did it. Look away. Can't trust stability here. Very good. Was the correct choice. And let's go for damage again. No, we will not get a reflect here. Too bad. Get the CC here, get the ball. Very good. I mean, I would say, yes, I'm very happy that I got that many subs in a year. Yes, I'm really happy about that. And I also have to mention I put a lot of effort into my YouTube channel. So I don't know how much you know about this, but I at least like for a year, almost, I think every single day, one video, which is a lot of effort. I put a lot of time into this. So I think it's really nice. I'm really happy that it's like showing, but it's definitely not something that comes from nowhere. Yeah, I put a lot of effort into my videos and on my YouTube channel time and stuff like that. So it's definitely something that it took a while to get there, but I'm happy that it, like I said, I'm very happy that it showed. Don't get me wrong here. I'm just saying it's not something that comes overnight for not doing anything. I put a lot of hours in that. Perma stability, resistance, resolution, open world build, preferably lower APM. I would say any of my open world Mesmer builds, if you have the chaos straight line, you have permanent stability. It's like, it's that easy. So if you, I would say staff mirage works perfectly. I have a guide about that as well. Staff mirage, very easy, very strong. And I would say one of the safest builds to play because of your perma stability uptime. You don't care. You don't care. You just ignore all the mechanics. And if you have to dodge something, you can just dodge and continue DPSing. So yeah, that's probably what I would recommend. But there are multiple builds that are like that. What else is really good with stability uptime? Like I said, you could go for any Mesmer build like Chronomancer, Virtuoso, all of them have surprisingly high of stability uptime if you're on the Chaos straight line. And you will have resolution and protection there as well. Especially protection. Resolution you will not have that much, but there are not that many Condi bosses for the most part. What else would be there? No, I think that's about it. Perma stability in open world is not something that you have all the time. Maybe Untamed can do it. Maybe Untamed. Ooh, that was a closed one. Let's concentrate on the boss for a second. And then we can catch up on chat here. But yeah, like I said, Staff Mirage is amazing. I would recommend that one. It has perma stability, or in general, any Mesmer build with Chaos has perma stability in open world, has very good protection uptime, and just very easy to play. Probably also good range in there. Highly recommend Mesmer in open world for perma stability and stuff like that. It's really good. It might not be the overall best performing class. I think Reaper or Untamed or stuff like that is a little bit higher in just damage output and general utility. Condi Chronomancer probably also in my top 3. Probably if you want to go for a really hard hitting build that also does is very flexible on top of that, then I would go for Condi Chronomancer. But it's not the easiest build to play. That's something that I also have to mention. You have to have some gimmicky thing with the relic to make it work. But if you do that, it's really, really strong. Guess we're gonna have to wait another 4 years for the next elite specs to get Alacrity DPS Ranger. Yeah, that's really weird. I really was expecting, because Druid doesn't really have an Alacrity DPS version, because you really have to either go for the Condi build or use the Alacrity trait. So it feels a little bit sad that you now don't get any other elite spec that gives you Alacrity with the DPS build. I really expected it, but I mean, it makes sense that Gale Shot is not like Alacrity providing, because it's all about fast movement, and like quickness is just a little bit more like, it feels a little bit more like it fits the class. But I definitely would say from a balance perspective, Alacrity would have been way better, definitely. But what can I do? I'm not using YOLO mouse, I'm using Bliss Shot. And in there, the mouse cursor add-on, which lets me give this blue cursor here. This is just a third-party add-on that I have anyway installed. It's a legal add-on, and it just gives you, for example, this mouse cursor, but I also have, for example, my mount wheel here, where you can select my mounts and stuff. Or, for example, in World vs. World, I also have a kill counter and stuff like that. So that's Bliss Shot. That's the mouse cursor add-on, yeah. Just got back to the game. I used to main Scourge before I left. Now I'm learning Mirage Rotation, but it's hesitant for the nerf. I would say, Glock, don't worry too much about the nerf. I think the Mirage Rotation is hard to learn, but if you master it, it's amazing. It's such a high DPS build, really fun to play. I think it's really, really good. But the nerf will not come until, like, if there will be a nerf, it will not come until the expansion drops. So you have at least 2 more months to play it, over 2 months. And even then, I think the other elite specs will get like way more broken, so they will probably not even nerf it anymore. It's weird to say, but I think that's my prediction there. I really think so. I think the new elite specs will be so overpowered that the Mirage build looks like normal. I really think so. That's the classic power creep in a non-vertical progression game. With each expansion, we'll get a power creep, even though we get no level increase. That's just how it goes. Yeah, glad you think so. Glad you think so much, Ivar. Thanks, Marksman. Really appreciate it. Thanks for the kind words. Yeah, I mean, that's my goal. That's all times my goal here. Good content in, like, hopefully concise matter, while also doing, like, somewhat entertaining content and helping players, of course. That's the main thing here. I want to get more people interested and somewhat hyped about Guild Wars 2 and the different gameplay and different things about the game. I thought I would have the 3 skill up there in time. Sad. Very good, very good. Berserker surprisingly, stability when you use any movement split. That is true. Berserker is surprisingly good as well with stability uptime. Good point, good point. I completely forgot about this. The problem with Berserker is, in my opinion, that I think a power build is very squishy. If you want to play an open world build, power is just very squishy. Celestial is really good, but then you don't have perma stability. So you have to like make the decision what is the choice for you. There is not a perfect one. I think the power build is way too squishy if you compare it to the celestial build, where you have a lot of crazy sustain and defensive, even invulnerability in there. Power build is just a little bit worse in that regard, I would say. But it is very, very strong and easy encounters. So if you don't have like legendary bounty solo, I think it's probably superior in most situations. Good point, good point. So where is my virtuoso with focus? Very good. Welcome, Spicy, welcome. What can I do with all the piles of bloodstone dust? So there is this item called Wizard's Gobbler, and in there is this, how is it called? Mordry, and you can use those things here with the fluctuating mass, and you can trade those in the glowing stone here for some items that give you just chunk items that you then can sell, and sometimes you get some unidentified gear and stuff out of that as well. But it's just a conversion. You can use those for that, and that's about it. But it's not, you will not get crazy rich by converting that. It's just something, if it's too much in your inventory, you can actually use them. That's the whole point. I do that. I have a full character of ascended stuff, and I don't need that anymore, so I use it now and then. Yeah. Can recommend that. Especially if you have like every single ascended thing and legendary thing that you need, then there is really almost no use for bloodstone dust. That's the sad truth. There are some crafting recipes that require it, but you will probably not craft it in that high quantity. So there is that, I would say. Hope that answers your question. What stats would you go for power, quickness, untamed? As much berserker as you can get, and probably some. I think you go for full berserker. That's probably the thing that you would go for. I can check in a bit, but that's the thing that I would recommend. Yeah, full berserker gear. And if you play it in solo content, then I might want to, if you want to be a little bit more tanky, then I might want to consider Demolisher or Marauder pieces. That's really like some tankiness via having higher defensive stats. That was the superior choice. But I would say Untamed in open world, especially like some kind of like Mace variant or something like that, has so much sustain and defenses in the kit already that there is almost no reason to run full defensive stats. So I would actually say, for the most part, for most people, just go for full berserker. You will actually have a very, very good time with that. Hope that makes sense. If you could make some video explaining how to actually get into World vs. World PvP with standard strategy. I actually have videos like that, to be honest. I have a video that teaches you how to get into World vs. World in PvP, like actual in the game mode, how this works and stuff. And I have a follow-up video on my YouTube channel also about PvP. So how to get good in PvP. So what specific things to look out for. But it's you can just type !guides in the Twitch chat, or you can scroll down in the YouTube stream description. There is a link to my guide spreadsheet, and there should all the guides that I just mentioned should be listed there. So sometimes it's hard to find on the guides on my YouTube channel. Just go to my spreadsheets and you should find them there. Hope that makes sense. Hope I explained it well. You should find it. Yeah. What second weapon should I use for Scrapper? Hammer? Yeah, I mean, as a Scrapper, you don't have a second weapon. So if you are an engineer or an elementalist, you don't have access to a second weapon. So you can only run Hammer on Scrapper. That's it. That's the only thing that you can do. That's how it works. So elementalist and engineer only have one weapon access. So it wouldn't matter what kind of weapon you would have in the offhand, because you will not use it. You will only use your hammer. That's the only thing that you will use. I somewhat sad answer, but that's just the truth. What elite spec is your favorite fun-wise? So just from a fun perspective, I personally think Viva is my most I think Viva is the most fun spec. Sadly, it's not in the most the best spot in any game mode. It's a decent build. It's not crazy good, but it's a decent build. I would say it stays there until there is another spec that comes close. Right now I like to play a lot of Mesmer, but from the fun perspective, Viva is always my favorite. It's such a fun spec. It's so good in design and just generally so, I don't know, it feels perfect. Perfect spec. sadly not in the perfect place in any game mode. It's a good spec, don't get me wrong. If you like it, go for it. But I like to play stuff that is broken, and sadly Viva is not broken. That's the sad truth. Yeah. Yeah, sorry that I can't give you the link directly, but I'm like always, that's why I have the spreadsheet to make it easier when I stream to actually recommend what kind of videos you should look for, because looking for always the same, like, how is it called? All the links in the stream itself can be a little bit like challenging to find all the links very fast if you are streaming at the same time and want to get some gameplay going. That's why I did the spreadsheet. You can easily link it and look and search for the video that you are looking for. Hope that it helps everyone here that are, especially new players, of course. So that's the intention there. Very good, we are almost done. After this, only 2 more fractals. Very good, was a nice run. Not the best group, but decent group. I like it. We did not like completely wipe 5 times in a row. I had groups, fractal groups, that had like 15k kill proof, which is somewhat a lot, you know. They had to do it like at least like, I don't know, 100 times or something like that, and they did die over and over and over. I had that before, and it always feels very painful. So I'm happy that I get a good group here that gets actually the things done. I don't care about the DPS too much. If they don't die, then I'm happy, you know. I don't want to reset all the time. That feels painful. Yeah, that's what I meant. That feels painful if your group is a little bit less like organized. I didn't get any H's. That feels sad, but it's okay. We did it. Very good. Last split phase, and then we can go to the normal modes, which should be a blast, Mitrin and Molten Boss. Not too bad ones. Maybe someone actually does the skip in the beginning and we have like almost no time left in fractals. And then we will go into World vs. World and do some roaming. I have a very spicy build coming up in roaming, which is a very fun build that actually, I would say, not a lot of people play, even though it's like an S tier build in roaming, yeah. I will try it out. I will come with a YouTube video about it as soon as I gathered enough footage to showcase it. And hopefully I can showcase it today in the stream as well. So stay tuned for that one, like in 20 minutes, new roaming build showcase. What's the best way to unlock all elite specs on a second character without having to grind the hero challenges? Definitely World vs. World. So I can show this after the next 2 fractals. So there is a vendor in World vs. World, just playing World vs. World. You will get passively those Jade testimonies, or how are they called? Let me check. Those things, testimonies of Jade heroics, those things. And if you get those, I have like a lot of them. What is... My teammate left. Oh no. Did we not do T4s? We did. Yeah, so I can show this, and you can just go to a vendor and use those things to actually get the unlocks, and you actually get the actual unlock in PoF or Heart of Thorns. You actually get this unlock at End of Dragons, and this is really cool because that means that you get the map completion faster, and you get, so to say, the... No. Oh no, we lost 2 players. So sad. Then I go heal, I guess. Let's go. 3-man. 3-manning this. Let's do it. Welcome, Petko. Welcome, welcome. I'm from Germany. That's why my pronunciation might not be perfect, but I'm trying my best. And hopefully you can understand me well enough. That's the main thing. If you can understand me, I'm happy. That's what I'm going for. Being understandable enough so that everyone gets what I'm saying, and hopefully improving in the future. But if I'm understandable, that's the only thing that matters, to be honest. Doesn't have to be perfect. even though it's sometimes painful to watch me fail at some word pronouncing. But yeah, I'm trying my best. I can't do any more than that, I guess. The boon uptime is better than before, so I take that as a win. Yeah, I'm glad that you think so, Asura. You know, some people, especially Germans, have like, very often I notice that a lot of German, like, not only, I think Germans, generally Germans, in my YouTube videos say, oh, my English is so bad. You know, the English that you speak is so bad. Please stop making English videos. And I think that's really like sad to hear, but it's always the Germans that actually criticize me. It's really fun to notice because Americans and just like English speakers, especially native English speakers, typically say, yeah, your English is perfect, right? Or at least good enough to be fully understood. So it's really fun that the people that are not the native speakers are actually criticizing me. So I'm fine. You know, if you have constructive feedback, I'm always very happy to actually implement that. But it's really fun to me that the people that are actually not like native speakers are saying my English is shit, please improve on that. It's really fun to me that it's like that. Good. Very nice to hear that, likely. Very nice. Very good. I wouldn't say that Germans are toxic as a nation because I'm obviously a German. I hope I'm not toxic. I really think that that's one of my most important things, that I'm not toxic. I'm always trying to be PMA and helping people. But I think it's noticeable that a lot of people that I encounter that are German are someone like, I don't know, they really want to say stuff that is negative and want to say, this is not good, you have to improve on that. You know, that's like a mindset in Germany that you always have to like say, oh, this is not good, you know, we have to improve on that. You know, there's always some criticism to be mentioned, you know, that's like the mindset. It's not negative. I would say it's not always meant like an offense or something. It's just like Germans are typically like people that want to get it like done correctly. And if you do something not correctly, they have to mention it. They can't keep it to themselves or can't be like polite or something. They have to tell you, this is not good. You have to do it. You know, that's like when you say like, I don't know, you park with your car at some space, you know, that is not allowed to be parked on and you're only there for like 1 minute or something. There is for sure some kind of neighbor that calls the police. You know, that's like a classic German thing to do. So they just want to have everything in order. That's like what I feel like. And it's the same for like my viewers that are from Germany, that sometimes, I don't want to generalize here, but it feels like that a lot of people in Germany, even in the YouTube comments, actually want to have that like criticism going on. It's really fun, yeah. Glad to hear that. Really happy that you actually think my English is good enough. That's the main part, you know. If the audience understands me, I'm happy. You know, that's the important part. It doesn't have to be perfect. Of course, I'm trying to get it done perfectly, but it's not always like possible. Do you think Troubadour will be a strong spec? Yes. There will be probably a nerf. I like guarantee you that there will be a nerf to the, how's it called? Shared distortion. I think distortion sharing is absolutely broken in any game mode. I think they will nerf it. But even after that, I think Troubadour has crazy good stability access, really good barrier uptime. I overall think Troubadour will be a good spec. It might not be like as broken as Chronomancer is right now, maybe not. But the thing is, Chronomancer will get nerfed. Yeah, so there is some kind of power vacuum after that, and that will be filled by Troubadour. Even if there is like this torsion share removed, I think it's still like absolutely strong. So that's my prediction there. But I could be wrong. We will see. We will see. You know, I can't wait to see how much I was wrong. You know, it's always funny to make statements like that and then you get completely like demolished by the actual balance. But that's my prediction at least. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It might be the people that are talking like Lothar Matthäus. Yeah, that is true. That is true. Yeah. Thanks, Conman. Really appreciate it. Yeah, that you think like that. And I mean, I try my best, you know. Try my best to produce content regularly and frequently and good content. Yes, very much. You have great vocabulary and everyone understands you. It's funny fellow Germans critique you since you speak better than like 90% of us Germans. I would not generalize. I just want to say I try my best and I hope at least that speaking more English during my streams and my videos and stuff will improve it over time, even if it's already somewhat decent. So I guess, yeah, I'm probably like a little bit above average, but I don't know. I don't know actually how the numbers turn out, but I think it's just in German nature that we want to criticize someone for not being perfect. That's just, I guess, feels bad, man. But I guess that's what they want to do or to be. Yeah. I'm from Brazil and I can understand you perfectly. I already watched a lot of your YouTube videos. Perfect. That's really nice. I really like to have people all across the globe. That's just an amazing, like, I don't know. It feels really good to make content for everyone and just be really like, I don't know, just an international type of content creator. I really like that. So that was also the main reason why I create content in English. Even though it's not my native language, I just think it's way more helpful across the globe. And the really cool feature is on YouTube now you have this like auto dubbing, it's called. So you actually get access to specific like language auto generated AI stuff. And it's not perfect, but it can actually help people that actually have struggled with English or struggled with my English in particular. So I think it's overall actually quite nice that we have this feature now. So I hope that will improve in the future as well. So people that really don't understand English at all, then they can watch it perfectly fine in their native language. So really cool. And overall, I hope that was the correct decision to not make German only content, because I think the audience there would be way smaller and probably not like, it would be not worth my effort to put that much like time and energy in my videos and then only like a few hundred people watch my videos. That's a little bit sad. How hard is it to play Chronomancer? I think Chronomancer is a spec that is somewhat easy to get into. Somewhat. It's not the easiest, but it's not too hard. It's only this one button that makes it hard. All the other things is not hard. And to master it, it's actually quite challenging. I think the gap between skill floor and skill ceiling is quite high in Chronomancer. So, but if you like it, be sure to try it. It's really fun. And it's absolutely busted in PvE right now. So I would give it a try and you will probably succeed, because it's just very flexible and not that hard to get into and very fun to master. Yeah, highly recommended. Could you do some more build guides with Celestial builds? Heavy armor is possible. So I have a lot of Celestial build guides that are specifically in my YouTube. Like you can scroll down in YouTube in the description and there is all my builds are listed there. So you can go to Guardian, you can in the spreadsheet, you can go to Guardian, to Warrior, whatever you like. And you check out there and there's always a tag with Celestial builds. So I have a Celestial Berserker build, I have a Celestial... What else do I have? Celestial Herald, Celestial Renegade, I have Celestial Vindicator, I have Celestial Firebrand, I have Celestial... What else do we have? Willbender. I think that's about it for the heavy armor classes. So I have like, I don't know, 6 or 7 builds that are Celestial on my YouTube channel for the heavy armor classes in specific. So you just have to go to the spreadsheet and you find all the builds there. Hope that makes sense. Because it's somewhat challenging sometimes to find in the like high amount of builds that I have at this point on my YouTube channel. Sometimes it's a little bit challenging to find them. And that's why the spreadsheet should help you there. It's in the description of the YouTube stream. And if you are on Twitch, you can just type !builds and then you will get the link to it. Get some healing to my allies. Very good. We are 3-manning this, you know, that's the new way to do fractals, you know. Just 3-man it. Yeah, it's really weird to me that my group asked for CMs and tier 4s and they just like quit after like the challenge modes. It's so weird because, you know, if you do it as a 5-person group, it's so easy, you know. It's like it takes like 10 minutes to get those 2 fractals done. So and you get like a lot of gold for doing them. So I actually don't know why they just said, no, those 10 minutes, that's too much for me. I don't know. I guess that's what they do. Come here. Can't heal you there. There we go. Very good. That's what I need to hear. Perfectly understandable. That's what we want. And I guess we just go here and this is like probably the hardest part of the whole fractal because there are so many trash mobs. There might be some people getting downstead all the time. Try my best here to keep them alive. Yeah, looks good, looks safe, very good. You have a Reaper, that's a nice DPS for this fractal in specific. So probably looking good. Sometimes in Guild Wars 2 I really like to just have a fishing session. Yeah, I mean fishing is really relaxing in Guild Wars 2 and so high gold per hour, it's actually insane. You get like 40 to 50 gold per hour if you know what you're doing. It's just amazing. It's just really, really good. Yeah. Going to eat some fishing food and see what you can catch. Yeah, exactly. You know, I think it's really cool that they added stuff like that. It's a little bit sad. I heard that critique earlier from another big content creator that fishing is like locked behind End of Dragons. I actually agree at this point. I actually think fishing is something that is so basic in most MMOs. They actually should have made fishing core. I really think so. Fishing should be enabled in core, and that would actually make it somewhat easier for new players to actually understand how, oh, they died. That's not good. Ah, they got rally. That's good. Yeah, so I really, that would be amazing. I think they will never do it, but to be honest, fishing should be promoted more. Yeah, I have a full guide on my YouTube channel how to get 50 gold per hour with fishing, and I think it should be promoted more. It's such a good gold farm because it's relaxing. It's obviously not for everyone. It can be quite boring, but it's relaxing if you watch another video or some kind of stream or whatever on the second monitor or something. It's amazing. It's good gold per hour. And the best part is it's soloable, so you can easily do it alone. And another good part is you can do it 24/7. Not a lot of gold farms in Guild Wars 2 can be done 24/7, which is really nice because that means that you can say, okay, this is now my farming session. I want to farm for 5 hours straight. You know, in Guild Wars 2, a lot of gold farms are daily kept, are weekly kept sometimes even. So just getting something that you can do 24/7 with fishing is a very unique condition or very unique thing to do. So I think it's really cool to have that in there, and I would like to have more people doing fishing because that means that we actually just have, I don't know, just a healthy flood of those things, and I would just like to promote it because it's actually a cool thing. I can get why you wouldn't do it, of course, because that means that you can't engage with the combat system, and fishing is obviously a little bit, I don't know, slow. But if you like some relaxing content, yeah, sure, I would recommend it. I got a very bad English and in French. I got a very bad English and I still understand you. Perfect, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm happy that you like the Firebrand video. More stuff like that is coming out. I already have one for each class, but I'm looking to do more of those, especially for builds that actually make sense to have like one build for all game modes. Obviously, this is a very high standard. So having a build for each game mode that you don't have to change the gear around is not very easy to come up with. But builds like Mirage, Firebrand, stuff like that actually have a decent time of doing that. So yeah, definitely something that I want to do more often. I have, like I said, for every class at least one out already, but I'm looking to do more of those. Yes, glad you like it. Do you know where there is a PvP mode in the Festival of Vermünstein in Level and Grid, the Aspect Arena? Yes, that is really fun, but it's an old school thing. It's typically not something that you do nowadays anymore, sadly. It's really sad, to be honest. Yeah, Gigaman, there are so many hidden things and PvP modes in Guild Wars 2. A lot of like not only festivals, but also like baseline, like, how is it called? South Sun Survival, and there are some weekly rotating things like Keg Brawl and that kind of stuff. There are so many small PvP minigames in the game, but it always feels a little bit sad that you just don't use them, don't make use out of them or play them for the most part. It's a little bit sad. It feels really sad that most of the player base don't even know that them exists. Yeah, that's just feeling really bad. Yeah, like I said, I have a fishing guide on my YouTube channel. It's really sad that people don't notice that, but I have one that is like very dedicated to fishing. You can just check it out on my, like again, on my guide spreadsheet. Just go scroll down on YouTube or in the Twitch stream, type !guides, and you will get a link to my spreadsheet, and there is a fishing guide listed under the gold guides there, or just look onto my YouTube channel, fishing guide, and you will find it there as well. It's like, I don't know, 10 to 15 minutes long and explains every single detail that you need to know about fishing. There's like, I think there's nothing missing. Everything is explained there, and it tells you how to get 40 to 50 gold per hour. 50 if you know what you're doing, and 40 if you're a little bit like not that experienced, but still, yeah. No, don't worry. My keyboard setup is not like this. I don't use my 6 and my 0 mouse, but my 0 keyboard keybinds. those are bound to my mouse. I have an MMO mouse, so don't worry, I'm not breaking my hand by going to the 0 button with my left hand. That's not how I'm playing. So everything good, everything good. I have that bound to my MMO mouse. Obviously not everyone has that. You can find some other keybinds that are somewhat close to that. Maybe, for example, X, C, stuff like that could be close enough, so you can use those as well. Now someone joins and asks if we are doing full tier 4. There we go. I feel like most people know about it, and I'm mostly played 1v1. I mean, that's cool. I mean, that's good then. Yeah, that's really nice. If more people know about those like niche game modes, that's cool. I like that. You know, then you have some active gameplay there. It would be sad if you have no one there doing it, even though it exists and it's a good mode. Yeah, for sure. When will be the beta test? It will start in 7 days, so on Wednesday next week. So a little bit more than 7 days, but it will start on Wednesday in the next week. Yes. So not that long anymore. And it will be really fun. I will do a lot of content about it as well, of course, just because I'm like excited to try out the new elite specs. So stay tuned for that one. And don't forget, because I see my sunrise here, I currently have a legendary giveaway going on my YouTube channel because we reached 10k subscribers. So if you have not entered yet, you have a big chance or somewhat good chance of winning the sunrise here. So be sure to check it out on my YouTube channel. Just some kind of like, you have like, I think 5 more days left or something to enter. So really like, if you're lucky, you know, get some big gold influx, or if you don't have sunrise yet, also get a nice skin. So be sure to check it out. Why does engineer just use one weapon? Is it like profession mechanic thing? Yes, engineer and elementalist are balanced in a way that you don't use any weapon other than the single weapon that you can use. That's because elementalist has 4 elements, obviously. That means that you have fire, air, earth, water, and those are, so to say, giving you 4 times the amount of skills than you would have regularly on a weapon. So that means that you actually get more value from having a single weapon than most classes get on 2 weapons. And for engineer, the balancing idea is that core engineer has access to kits, and kits give you access to more weapon skills, so to say, as well. So that's why you have engineer with 1 weapon and a lot of kits that you can equip. That's the idea behind that. I found it really fun. Wish more people played it, so you could do some 3v3s with the elemental powers. Yeah, that's really nice. I think a lot of those game modes should be like focused in the dailies, maybe, and the festival dailies as well, so that people actually play that. But yeah, it's a little bit sad that they exist and no one cares about them because there's nothing that actually rewards you for them. It's really sad. They put some effort in development time, and they just like, there's nothing that actually, I don't know, makes you want to play it other than the fun aspect, which should be good enough. But obviously a lot of people always want to have like also something that is other than fun, some rewards. So yeah. Do you need to unlock certain things for fishing or just have EOD? So End of Dragons is good enough, but of course having the fishing mastery to maximum is obviously helping a lot. You get way more gold with that way, but that's about it. It's really like the fishing mastery to maximum gives you everything that you need, and then you don't need anything else. It's just the fishing mastery that gives you more gold and higher gold per hour, but nothing else. End of Dragons and the fishing mastery. Yeah. As a new player, I'm still completely lost. Don't know what strikes are or how I can get into it. Don't know what bounties are or home runs of T4s. I feel stupid. Don't worry, that's a big MMO. You know, it's a multiplayer game that is like out for like 13 years at this point. So it's a really big game. There's a lot of things to do. So Fractals, tier 4 Fractals is the, so to say, the highest challenging difficulty for dungeons, somewhat scaling dungeons like Mythic Plus in World of Warcraft, something like that. Strike missions are single boss encounters, like for example, I don't know, a raid fight that you would know in other games. 10-player raid fight that you have a single boss encounter, where a raid is obviously a longer term instance with typically 3 encounters for 10 people. And what else did you ask for? Bounties are just some open world bosses that are somewhat challenging, but you can do them either solo or you can do them in a group. With a good build only, you can do it solo, but with a decent group, you can do it very, very fast as well. What else do we have? What did you ask for as well? Yeah, and home instance and stuff like that is just something where you can collect the homestead, home instance, where you can collect some more loot, and that's about it. It's not really like a key feature where you can get a lot of gameplay out of. It's more like a feature that you can actually get some loot and it's like a housing feature. That's just so roughly the feature here. Let's get some kills here. Nice. This guy looks dead. Very good. There's another one coming. Nope. Put in dailies? Yeah, exactly. I think the daily features, especially for the festivals, but in general for dailies, I think that they should extend what is daily. So we have currently the Festival of the Four Winds, yeah? And the dailies are always like out of a pool of 6 dailies, not even like 4 or something for the most part. The pool is really small. And that would be so cool if there would be dailies that force you to do stuff that is actually somewhat like niche, like those PvP game modes. It would be like you wouldn't have to do it, but as soon as it appears, people would actually play it, you know? Even if there is an alternative, some people would actually try it out. So I personally think that would be amazing, but they are obviously quite scared to put that in dailies where you get, for example, where is it here? This one, for the favor of the pavilion is obviously locked behind one single daily all the time. And this one is quite important for getting skins and other loot out of the Festival of the Four Winds. So they are scared to give that to something that is PvP related because a lot of players don't engage with PvP at all, even if it's just a mini game. So yeah, that's the problem there. But I think it would be amazing, to be honest, just to hype up the stuff and maybe even make it a special achievement in the Wizards Vault, you know? Give us some astral acclaim for that, for doing like 10 matches of that so that people would engage with it during the festival. Stuff like that I think would be really cool. Just getting more incentive to players that actually usually don't play those modes, but just would be intrigued by it if they would know about it or get more rewards. Oh no, full circle. Run away. Oh, come on. They are really chasing me. What are they doing? It's insane. 20 people. What the fuck? Yeah, that's like I'm speechless. What can I say? You know, 20 people don't have anything better to do than just killing a random guy here, trying to roam. Classic. Yeah, I mean, I like those, you know. It might be that not everyone here in chat agrees, but I think, to be honest, Kickerman, I think that's like something that would improve the festival for me. For me, the festival is a fun festival. I would say it's not my favorite festival because it feels like as soon as I did the dailies, there is not that much to do anymore. It's like really the dailies take 10 minutes and then I'm done. So I think having dailies like this that give me some more rewards would be cool. You know, that would be something that keeps me interested in playing. Yeah. Best way to make Golden Guild Wars 2? Oh, that's a question. You know, you could do like 5 videos about this. You know, there are so many ways to make Golden Guild Wars 2. The best way is just having fun while playing the game and doing something that gives you some amount of gold. But everything in the game gives you gold. Even playing World vs. World PvP gives you gold. So you can do whatever you like. The best gold farms in PvE are some meta events. Fishing is quite good. Stuff like that. But I mean, I can't give you a single answer to that. It's really like, try to find some game mode, some kind of map, whatever you want to farm, and then it will probably give you gold. I have so many videos about gold making on my YouTube channel. You can check all of them out. They will all help you. But I can't tell you what's the best way because it always depends on what you'll enjoy doing, what you find like somewhat relaxing, because a lot of time in Guild Wars 2 you spend a lot of time farming gold. So that means if you don't like what you're doing after 5 hours, then you might not get a lot of gold. So you should do something that is in the long run fun to you. What if I'm trying to be like richer, like Guild MM? Yeah, that is something that is probably for the normal player not possible. That's I'm sorry to say that, but for like 99.99% of the player base, you will not get richer than the TP Barons. And especially Guild MM. Oh my god, they are back. They have nothing to do. What is this? Classic world versus world experience. You know, what is this? 10 people just waiting for me to respawn. Very nice. I like it. Good thing. Fun entertainment content. Yeah. So how do the TP Baron get so rich? It's about trading post, yeah. Making money with the trading post. They don't play the game anymore. Like the richest people in Guild Wars 2 don't play the game. It's they do their stuff that they make money with is spreadsheets, trading posts, buying stuff, selling it more expensive, processing is. I did that before as well. That's why I have a higher account value. But you have to put a lot of investment and a lot of time outside the game into spreadsheets, into calculating, into just general economic knowledge. It's not something that you can say, oh, I will just farm this map and I will get as rich as those people. It's just not possible. Even if you farm 24/7, which is obviously not humanly possible, if you farm 24/7 at like 40 gold per hour, you will not get to this point. Yeah, let's do a calculation. You know, I can show that for you. I have here the calculator. Yeah, and if you say you get 40 gold per hour, which is a decent or quite good number if you get that consistently, and you farm 24/7, yeah, that means that you get per week. Let's calculate it. It's 24 hours per day. It means that you get 960 gold per. No, it's gone now. No. There we go. No, let me stop it. You get 960 gold per day if you would farm like that crazy. It's obviously not realistic. Just thinking, nah? And then you would do that for every single day in the year. You will get 350 gold per year, which is obviously not even close to reachable. Yeah, realistic numbers would be even like 4 hours instead of 24. So you have to divide this by 6. So you would get like 60k gold per hour per year if you would farm for 4 hours each day at 40 gold per hour. Yeah, then you would get 60 if you would do that consistently every single day. You get 60,000 gold. The highest value, like Guild MM, has like 1.3 million. 1.3 million account value or something, 1.5. Yeah, so that means this is the account value of one person. If you would get that in 60,000 gold per year, you will take almost 22 years to get this account value. If you would only farm in Guild Wars 2 for like almost a full-time job. Yeah, this is what you would do without a weekend. Yeah, so 22 years without a weekend, 4 hours each day. Yeah, good luck. So you have to invest, you know, making spreadsheets and stuff like that, and you get good gold. Yeah. I have a starter guide on my YouTube channel about it. I'm sorry that I'm always self-advertising and promoting my YouTube channel, but I have a guide about flipping on my trading post series on YouTube. Yes, I have that. So you can check it out there, and it explains how to do it. Of course, it doesn't give you a specific item that you should flip, because then even if only 10 people started flipping it, it will not be like lucrative anymore. But I give you advice how to find items that you can flip and then get gold out of. Yeah. You can I can send you the link, but what I want to mention here is always type, if you're on Twitch, you can type !guides and you will find the spreadsheet there. Let's get a 101. Finally, a 101 and not like 10 people. No, it's 2 people. Okay. It's another County Untamed. That's a little bit scary, to be honest. Just concentrate here a bit on the gameplay. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. Unlucky. Exactly, in guides, and then you can find there is a full list of all my gold guides in a separate sheet in this spreadsheet, and you can then find the flipping guide as well. Yeah, see you, Arthur. So what was the question? Is there a way to have more space for material storage? Yes. There is a special item that you can get to extend your material storage to 2,750. That's the current maximum as far as I know, as you can see here. And this is an item in the gem store that you can purchase. It costs some gems. It might be worth it for you, might not be worth it for you. Depends a bit on what kind of player you are. I personally have it, of course, because I like to have savings, but it's not for everyone. So if you like it, get it. Definitely worth it for you then. World vs. World has seasons to some extent. So World vs. World functions in a way that you have always 7 days in each matchup. So currently I'm on Squidwork. I'm playing against Great House Aviary and Bavanivos. This is my matchup. It will change on Friday. And then I will have another matchup for another 7 days. And every 6 to 8 weeks or something, there is a new relink. So you get, depending on your current guild assignment, you will get into a different matchup. So a new server, so to say. And then you will get possibly a completely different server matchup again. So there are seasons in that regard, but it's not changing the rewards. There is nothing changing other than the team assignment. It's just who you play with, so to say, that changes a bit. That's about it. Hope that answered your question there. I advise just upgrading once. Past that, just manage your chunk better. I think it depends what kind of player you are. I'm just someone that likes to have the account maximum, you know? I actually, that's the funny thing. I have, of course, my bank maxed, yeah? But the thing is, I don't use it. So I just like to have my stuff maxed out. But if you are someone that is somewhat on a budget, yeah, I think getting the material storage to maximum is not necessary. You know, I have my bank, I can show it here. My bank tabs are not even halfway filled because I have 70 characters that I use as storage. I don't use my bank, but I can definitely see why you would say material storage is completely unnecessary, because it's only giving you a little bit of time until you have to clean it up anyway. So it's almost the same value if you would not have it at all. But I personally want to have it everything to the maximum. That's just who I am, but I can definitely understand why you wouldn't like that. Is there a guide about crafting items and flipping them? So there is, as far as I know, not a single guide that gives you a specific item that you can craft and make money with it. But I personally would say just think about what kind of item is sold either very often and is somewhat lucrative to craft, or is very lucrative to craft and not sold that often, and then you can go from there. That's always how you make a new idea to get gold, is always think, okay, what is a possible item that I could craft? And then you look at the numbers, if it's actually profitable. Most items in the game are actually profitable. No, it left. Yeah, but it's always a little bit of spreadsheeting involved. So always thinking about what kind of items are used, what kind of items can I craft, what kind of items are worth, and which items have profit when I craft it. So stuff like that. Nice, we can get another 101 this time, hopefully. No, I can't get this. Can't get this. Maybe I can. This guy's re-engaging. I mean, they're outranging me. That's a little bit annoying, to be honest. So I have a flipping guide on my YouTube channel. It's again in the trading post series, but I'm not specifically covering crafting, what kind of items are insane to craft. But there are multiple ones, obviously, that might work for you. We give some resistance. Very good. Nice, we got the Connie burst. Very good. The super speed is really annoying, I have to be honest. This is so annoying. Yeah, one-on-ones with Celestial builds feel a little bit annoying. Can I say? Let's concentrate. Let's get this, you know. Let's come on. That's so annoying. Just feels bad at this point. So sad. Could have easily won that. Let's do it once more, you know, once more. It's actually a good matchup for us. They have a lot of projectiles. I have a lot of projectile blocks. It's a good thing. Dodge this damage. Maybe we get the CC here. Just keep spamming this, I guess. I can't go much further because they might just get the invulnerability at some point from the starting point. Nice. Oh, they had stability. It's so sad. How can we win this? What's the play here? Was a good dodge. I think that just takes forever. I'm not sure if we can win this today. I will try, but stop it. Stop it. I mean, I just don't want to fight this anymore. Stop it, please. Stop it. Maybe no. Maybe now is the time. No, they have too many glances. Forever. I'm not sure if it will end before EOD release. You know, I just don't want to give up because I actually am like closer to winning than this guy is. I have to be honest. I think it's possible for me to win this. Let's see a little bit longer. Just a little bit, you know, just 10 more minutes and I think we will resolve this. No, they got in a friend. No, not a friend. That's not fair. Come on. Oh my gosh. Let's just run away, you know. Typical world versus world fashion. Oh, just let me end this fight, you know. At this point, I don't want to play it anymore. Yeah, that's not nice content. I mean, who wants to watch this? Just let me leave. Holy shit, my PC is also dying. I just give up. Yeah, I mean, what is this? You know, that's just boring. Just boring. Boring 101s. That's just world versus world in a nutshell. You know, if you have a obnoxious build, the enemy team will probably also be annoying with another annoying build. It's just how it goes. So sad. Could have won that, to be honest. Could have won that if I played better. Is there a more active world versus world server on EU? I think the important part nowadays is you don't have a server. So in the beginning of if you start your game, you have to select your server. But the server has 0, I'm not joking, 0 value. You only select EU or NA. That's the thing. You can't go between those servers, but that's it. Other than that, the matchmaking in World vs. World is solely balanced around your guild that you select. So I currently selected my community guild as the World vs. World guild. So that means I will be matched with my friends that also are in my guild and also selected this as the World vs. World guild. If you do that, you will match with those with another group of players and you will get into your World vs. World matchup. So Switzberg consists of other World vs. World guilds as well. Currently, this is a quite active matchup. We get a lot of commanders, a lot of stuff there. But if you are on a server that is not that active, you have to wait until the next relink and you might get some amount of players that actually are also active. If you want to be more proactive and don't wait for the matchmaking, you can go into a Guild Wars 2 World vs. World focused guild. So go into just one guild that you are looking for active players and you will have an active server matchup then as well. So that's the way it works now. I hope that answers your question. Do you think the longbow could use a total rework? Yes. I think Ranger longbow is one of the weirdest weapons for PvE. In Guild Wars 2 in general, I would say it's okay, but in PvE specifically, it is really bad. It's like just a really bad long-ranged option that has a little bit of burst, but no consistent damage. And I think there should be some kind of reload mechanic of your rapid fire or something in the kit that you can actually spam it more often in PvE. And in competitive modes, it's okay. It's not the best weapon, but it's also not the worst. So yeah, I personally think it's a build that you can, or weapon that you can use there, but in competitive modes it's also somewhat niche, whereas in PvE it's completely it's a meme weapon at this point. It's just too weak. That's the real problem. It's just too weak, and I really hope that they will give it some love in the future because it's a fun weapon in my opinion, and I don't know, it just needs some help with the numbers. And hopefully with Gale Shot being some kind of bow build, it could actually come out. That would be some kind of balance patch hope that we get there, that we get some kind of longbow rework, maybe normal, I don't know, ranger weapons as well, but mostly I'm looking for longbow rework for Gale Shot as well, that you have the bow fantasy on this build particularly, and hopefully that's gonna happen. I'm not completely sure that will, because they could have reworked longbow I don't know, 2 years ago. They did not do it yet. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely it's I would say, to put it in ANET terms, it's on the table, but I'm not guaranteed that it will happen. Because it's really hard to me to make it something that is unique as a power-based weapon, because you already have a lot of power-based weapons on Ranger. So yeah, I think Ranger has a problem that it has too many weapons that it has access to, and that can be quite obnoxious to deal with in terms of balancing. There we go, we got him. The only time I use it is not to try in meta events and stand in the back for tagging. Yeah, exactly. That's longbow is a really nice long-ranged weapon, but it doesn't have like a really unique playstyle to it or a unique gimmick other than the range. And the problem is, range in Guild Wars 2 is something, especially 1500 range that the longbow has, it's just like not necessary. Like no specific fight or open world fight or whatever you want to play it requires you to have that much range. In the contrary, it's actually like you want to be with your party, standing on top of each other to receive healing, boons, and all the good stuff. So there is really no incentives to actually play some kind of long-range weapon, especially if it's worse as the melee weapon. So why would you ever take it? There is like almost no situation where you would take this. And that's a little bit, yeah, it's a feels bad moment, I would say. I wish they had power-based pistol main ranger. That would be cool, but I think there will be no new weapons coming in the near future. Maybe with if there is another expansion after Visions of Eternity, maybe we get a power-based pistol, maybe. But I think it's very long away. That much is for sure. It's far away and I'm not sure if we will ever get it, to be honest. So I have a referral link that is supporting my channel, but I don't have a promo code. So if you're looking for a code for, I don't know, getting the expansion a little bit cheaper, I don't have that. You can just type !buy in my Twitch chat and you should get a link to my referral link if you want to support me. You have to pay the normal price and I get some kind of support from ArenaNet then, but I have no promo code, so I can't give you the expansion for a little bit more, like less money. That's sadly not what I can do. I want to play more Ranger. What weapon do I use when I play in solo PvE? So on a power-based build, I would use maces. On another weapon set, I would use Sword X. That's typically what I would use. Mace, Sword X. If you play a Condi-based build, I would use Dagger Warhorn and X Dagger or something like that, or even Torch. So I have actually solo builds for Untamed. One is power-based and one is Condi-based. And they use like those weapons. So Dagger Warhorn and X Dagger. Or Shortbow even, if you wanted to. If you want to play power-based weapons, I would always use Mace, in my opinion. Mace is amazing, Mace, with Sword and X in the other weapon set. That's what I would play, and I think it works really, really well. Okay, we get a core warrior matchup. Let's take a look at this. That looks way more like doable. Okay. Let's concentrate here a bit. What is this guy playing? Greatsword? Greatsword X or something like that? Core Warrior? Very interesting. I have to disengage this a bit, because there's a Mesmer coming. Mesmer dies in cleave. Very good. No. Let me dodge. Oh, that was so close. That was like, ooh. Nice, we got it. Very good. And now we can focus on the warrior again. It's not the best matchup for me though, I have to be honest. Because he doesn't have that many Condi cleanses, Condi applications, and I get way more damage or healing rather when I get actually the Condi cleanses, because I'm running Nios Relic. But it might X-Shield Greatsword Core Warrior. Oh my god, he has stability. Why do all those matchups take so long? Maybe I'm too tanky of a build. But he has a lot of cleanses as well. Maybe now is the time. 50%, 30%. Come on, die. Please, at some point. I think now it's the good time to burst. No, he got the real sustain. No, no, no. Oh, no, no, no. I wanted to make a good build with this, but this is not a good roaming montage. It's just a very tanky fight all the time. Okay, man, now we get a Dragon Hunter here. That's good. That's what we like, because we can get actually some kills going in the background here. And you might get the kill here again. Let's focus on this guy. Good target. Stop it. Just stop it. Just stop it. Please. The warrior is just annoying at this point. At some point we will get some kills, you know? I mean, it just takes like forever, but we will get there. We will get there. I'm so sorry for you that you have to watch this here. I'm really sorry, guys. They will get the rest. No, they won't. We will get there, you know? We will get there. Pure Earthly Walker? Yeah, I mean, pure Earthly Walker will be somewhat tanky as this build, I have to be honest. I really like... I don't look forward to playing against something like that, but I look forward to playing Earthly Walker. It looks really fun, to be honest. So we will get the burst soon. I imagine. The burst will come out soon. No, there are more people coming. But there are greens. That's good. Greens are not helping this guy. He does 0 damage. It's actually insane. This is like a full tank. I don't know. He does 0 damage. It's crazy. Nice. With the help from above, we got the kill. You know, it was very easy to get the kill here. Just took like 15 minutes. Very good. Easy, you know. Assert dominance after 15 minutes of win. Yeah, pillow fighting. Yeah, Guild Wars 2, the new pillow simulator. Yeah. I mean, I killed like in my 15 minutes one-on-ones, I actually killed like one person off screen, like 2 times actually with the Mesmer and the Guardian coming. So the build is actually doing some damage. The problem is I'm always facing some really tanky builds as well. So that's just the sad part here. They captured it. Okay, and we have to go somewhere else. Clowning on people with a frog is going to be so good. Yeah, I think the Evoker, some people said the Evoker looks boring, but I personally think the Evoker has some really good potential in competitive modes. I think it will be so fun to use an Earth Evoker to really be annoying when tanky. And I think even in healing, some kind of healing Evoker will be actually quite decent because you have really good healing, cleanses, regen and stuff like that. I think it might be actually worthwhile to play that as well. I think in PvE it will be DPS focused, but other than that, I actually enjoy it. I think it looks quite fun, yeah. Was wondering how to choose what gear stat combos to use when you are making a build. So let me start with that. So you first have to understand what kind of role and game mode you are filling. So if you're looking, for example, for a solo build in open world, yeah, then this is the first thing that you have to mention. What is your build? What does it want to fill? Which kind of role? If you want to make a build for quick DPS in like raids or something, you have to specifically say, okay, it has to be an offensive support that provides quickness. And then you go from there. You always start with what wants the builds to be. And then you look and say, okay, I want to play this and that weapon. I want to play this and that, I don't know, gameplay. And depending on what choices you do then, if you want to go, for example, for a Virtuoso, and you want to play a solo build, and you know it's, for example, Condi based, that rules out a lot of things. And then you always think about, okay, how can I get my numbers up? So what's the best damaging build that I can do without sacrificing too much defensive if you're going for a solo build? If you're going for a group build, you only want the most amount of damage, stuff like that. So, and then you go from there. If you are going for a solo build and a Condi build, typically you want to play a Celestial version. If you are more of a group player, then you would probably go Viper. Oh, the guy's back. Is it this guy? I think so. But this time it's like the Spellbreaker version. I think Spellbreaker is not better, my friend. Nice, we hit that one. Spellbreaker is not better in my opinion. It's just it's C-locking me. That's also not like changing too much, to be honest. The classic, the classic. 1v1ing on, or 1v2ing on the stairs. You know, the stairs, the killer. Stop it. This seed chaining is annoying. Stop it. That was not a good knockback, I have to be honest, my friend. Could have died there if you didn't knock me out of that. Yeah. I think we get the kill here now. Pretty convinced that this will result in a good option to get the kill here on the warrior. No, he evaded. Nice, we got the kill, finally. Took only like 7 years, but we got there. Have to get some... Yes, we got the cleave. I think, I hope. This build is fun. Takes forever to kill something, you know, but I get a lot of outnumbered wins. There we go. We got it. Just took forever, but we got it. Leveling Necro when you have access to Sword and Greatsword feels kind of busted. Yeah, it's actually crazy how good the new like weapons feel on specific builds when you level. For example, you can now use all the really strong power options, the mobility options that you wouldn't have access to earlier. It's really good. So especially Necromancer 8 good, I would say. Yeah. What about for World vs. World? Like if I'm starting from full Circa, but want to be a bit more tanky to be able to 1vx more, then you would typically say, okay, I'm going for full Circa and I want to get a little bit more tanky. I would put in some Marauder pieces, some Demolisher pieces, depending on if you already have a lot of like high health. For example, a Warrior would have high health. You would say, okay, then I would probably put some Demolisher pieces in. And you can also mix Marauder and Demolishers together. This is like the go-to stat that you would use in a power-based build that wants a little bit more defenses as well. And you could even put some Commander's pieces in if you want to have some boon duration as well, but you will lose some damage for that. So you always have to think about what your builds is like, the strength of the build, what's the weakness, and then think about it like that if you want to have a weakness covered, you go for a gear stat that covers the weakness. If you want to go more into a like in-depth in your strength already, so if you have a lot of, for example, boons, then it makes sense to go into boon duration, because then your boons will last longer and you get, so to say, more value from that. It can also make sense to say, okay, I'm, for example, a Guardian is a heavy armor class but has a low health pool, so it makes sense to cover the weakness of the low health pool if you go, for example, for it's like the rival Berserker. Interesting. I'm not sure if you will be better off with this one, but another choice. So if you want to cover the low health pool of the Guardian, can be worthwhile to, for example, just say, okay, now we cover it with Marauder pieces, and that will be good enough as well. Let me move. What is this build? Staff Rival Core Warrior. I mean, what is this guy cooking? It's absolutely insane. Just stop it. Why are they all playing so tanky stuff? Look at this. What are they playing? I don't even know it. And now he has the healing skill back up, I think. Oh no. He didn't get that much value from the healing skill, so that's my chance, I guess. Maybe not. He's full life again. Oh no. Yes, exactly. You would start, depending on how many stats you want, you would always start with a few pieces and slowly increase it from there. So if you have like trouble, for example, surviving, even though you have the full armor Marauder, then you can go for trinkets as well. But I would always do it step by step. I would not say this is like that you go, for example, for full, I don't know, full Marauder from the start. I think you would start with the most aggressive option and see if you can survive with it, because oftentimes, as you can see here, if you have more damage, sometimes the fights are easier to, or at least a little bit easier, because you might actually survive long enough to actually get the kill. Here you have the other way around. This takes forever because I'm too defensive. If I had more aggressive Sigil Relic or something, I would easily win this, but I don't, because, yeah, I mean, I did not expect to be like fighting all the time those tanky guys, but yeah. It's just, at this point, it's just a joke. I really wanted to get some damage, sigils or relics or something here. That would be so helpful, to be honest. But what can you do? What can you do? I can't swap in combat anymore. So sad. Yeah, if I had more might, for example, that would be amazing as well, you know, then my damage would be higher. Yeah, I think I will just disengage this. That's just very, very, like, not fun to fight against. What can I say? That's just not fun. I mean, you can look at the guild support Discord, where you guild recruitment Discord, that can help you. Other than that, I think asking in map chat and stuff like that can be helpful. But yeah, I think finding guilds in Guild Wars 2 Discord servers can help, stuff like that. But it's definitely not something that I would say is that easy to do. He got me, finally. I walked here on purpose, by the way, to die. Finally, that was annoying. I just wanted to get out of this. So let's answer some questions. What Elementalist build would you say main hand dagger works the best with? Probably Catalyst. Catalyst works very well. Celestial Weaver maybe, but the problem is dagger is just such a supportive weapon in PvE. So if you want to play some solo build with dagger, you will lose a lot of damage by not taking scepter or pistol. So yeah, maybe Weaver works probably the best, but dagger is just not like a very offensive weapon. It's really support focused in PvE or in all game modes actually. So main hand dagger probably on Weaver, yeah, but probably not that high damage either. Yeah, there is not really a interface for finding guilds. You can go to the looking for guild. Where is it? There is somewhere guild advertisement, guild recruitment. You can look here and there's always some people looking for a guild. You can find that in the guild recruitment channel, but there is no real UI for finding a guild. That's the sad truth there, yeah. I find it strange that World vs. World never adopted a gear system like SPVP. Yeah, they wanted to have the system that is in SPVP is only like in PvP. Whereas in Guild Wars 2 World vs. World, you use the PvE gear so that you have some advantage if you have the craziest, best ascended gear over someone that only runs around in green gear. But it feels weird in Guild Wars 2 where you don't have any vertical progression anyway to have a game mode where this is not equalized. That's just how it goes. You know, that's how they balance the game mode. Yeah. So, yeah, we have to live with that, I guess. No problem. Always happy to help. Yeah, there should be some in-game tool. I think there are a lot of things in Guild Wars 2 UI-wise that are missing. Like features like Raid Finder, like Guild Finder, like just a better customizable UI so that you can, for example, if I wanted to have my health bar up here next to the boss's health bar, like all the other games let you at least somewhat customize your UI. In Guild Wars 2, the only option to customize UI, and I'm not joking, is by changing the size of your UI. Yeah, you can make it bigger, you can make it smaller, but that's about it. And that's a little bit sad, you know. Why not be able to move my boon bar up to somewhere where I can see it better, stuff like that, and maybe make it bigger or whatever. And that's missing as well. There are a lot of base features that are missing in Guild Wars 2. It's an amazing game, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying it would be even better if we had some cool features on top of that. How to make Spear Harbinger a little more sustained in World vs. World? So Spear Harbinger is really good. It's a really good power build. I would recommend going for full Demolishers on a Spear Harbinger. Why is that? Because Demolishers gives you toughness, whereas Marauder Gear would give you more vitality. And if you go for toughness on a power build that has a lot of barrier and a lot of healing, you get a lot of value for your toughness. So each health pool, each health point that you have, that you get, so to say, from your normal being a Harbinger and stuff, will get more value because the toughness increases, so to say, the resistance against power damage. Whereas the healing that you get will be more flexible or more valuable as well on top of that. So I hope that makes sense. In general, that's just a very, very important tip that I can give you to play Power Harbinger, is going for full Demolishers, Blood Trade Line, and you will have a very good time ahead, really good build. I mean, it's fine. I actually agree with you. I think it's okay to have a game mode where you don't have gear matching and you have gear matching in PvP, because then you have both options to play it. But I can see the argument. Been watching your tier list over and over. Newbie trying to decide what to main. Torn between Necro feels slow. Elementalist, low survivability, and Revenant feels weaker. Yeah, that's pretty much summarizing it. I think you should go for the one that you enjoy the most, because all of those that you just mentioned can actually have builds that are fast. So for example, Harbinger for Necromancer feels extremely fast-paced. Elementalist can be really tanky if you play some tanky Celestial stats or even Trailblazer gear. And if you want to have Revenant, there are some builds that are extremely strong right now. But go for the one that you enjoy the most, because the important part here is balance might change. Your fun about a specific class fantasy will at least for some time stay the same. So if you enjoy having the mage feeling, go for Elementalist, because the mage will always stay there, but the balance might change. That's my tip that I can give you. Hope that makes sense. Other than that, yeah, just go for the one that you like the most, and if you enjoy it in the beginning, go for it until the end. But if you notice after a few levels, this is not for me, you can still swap. Guild Wars 2 is quite friendly in that regard. Yeah, hope that answers your questions at least a little bit. But in general, I would always recommend trying out some stuff, maybe watching some streamers, some YouTube content about a specific class if you don't know how it looks, how it feels. But in the end, you have to play it yourself and see how it works, because only then you can decide, that's actually a really cool build and a really fun one to try and play all the time. Because classes, if you will have way more fun playing a class that you enjoy than if you would play a class that you don't enjoy, even though you like the game. It's really like the game gets way more exciting by playing a build that you actually enjoy as well. And I have to be honest, for me it's even that far that I like to play classes and builds more, that I have the right like race and just look of the character. If I have a character that I don't like at all, and I have a character that I like the look and just general skins that I can use, that's also like subconsciously, maybe consciously, making me wanna play a build that is somewhat using those skins again. Yeah. So if I just made a legendary Twilight Greatsword, I want to play this. I don't want to play classes like my current Untamed setup, where I don't play any Greatsword. That would be boring. Stuff like that. I can definitely see that as well, but that comes later, of course. Yeah. Yeah, if you like, I think it's good of you to think about what is strong right now and stuff, because obviously that makes sense that you don't want to play a build that is really hard to play and that's really bad. Of course, that makes a lot of sense. But I personally would always say that builds that are good right now don't need to stay good for the next months. So go for the one that you enjoy, and that's probably in the long run a better way to grow it. I need some help. I don't know what build to follow for the Greatsword Spear Power Dragon Hunter. It seems like there are two, one using Virtues and the other one using Radiance. So the thing is, the Virtue version gives, I can show that to you. There is a trait in Virtues, I just tell you, there is a trait in Virtues that empowers your damage by quite a bit if you have a lot of boons. The problem is, in a lot of situations, you might not have crazy amounts of boons. In some situations, you might. So the Radiance version pulls ahead on fights and just general setup for a group where you don't have crazy amounts of boons. Yeah, the Virtues version is really good if you can upkeep Ages and have crazy amounts of boons. So I would say go for Radiance for the most part, but in general, the Virtues version works very well as well. Go for the one that you like the traits more, I guess. Both of them work very well. Yeah. I've never mained healer on any MMO in 20 years, and until I tried Catalyst healer. Yeah, I mean, Catalyst is so fun. Quickness Catalyst heal in PvE or healer Catalyst is a support in World vs. World Circs. It's really fun. I can really recommend it. Yeah. Learning how to play Reaper, can X replace main hand dagger? Yes, very much so. The problem is your life force generation. So to go into Shroud is a little bit lower with the dagger, with the X instead of the dagger, but you have some range in there. So both have their advantages, but perfectly exchangeable, yes. It's based power weapon, both of them, and therefore you can easily exchange them, yes. Yeah, and I think that's the end of today's stream. I hope you enjoyed it. I had a blast, it was really fun. I wish you a very nice evening, and I hope to see you tomorrow. If not, have a nice rest of the week. Thanks a lot for watching. Be sure to check out my YouTube channel. Like I said, I have a YouTube giveaway going currently for Legendary. So be sure to check that one out if you haven't entered already. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks for your support and your kind words. Really appreciate that. And yeah, wish you a good night. See you around. Take care, everyone. Take care.